What's up?
What's going on, guys?
What's up?
How are we all today?
Just 117-5, so I'm feeling good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a beatdown.
Yeah, my kid pitched 3 innings, faced 10 batters, struck out 9. So
He was like,
pretty much. Well, it was his first time he wanted to try pitching from the windup. He's only pitched from the stretch. And he was pounding the strike zone. It was ridiculous.
Nice.
It was funny. One of his friends comes up to the plate and he's walking towards our side of the dugout to get to the other side of the plate. And as he's walking, he just goes, "I'm so screwed."
great.
So, I never got an answer as to A, what day, and B, if you guys wanted on the main or Patreon.
What do you think? Should we do a Patreon exclusive?
Fuckers.
No, it's far funny. Come on, fucker. I would say Patreon.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking probably every 2 weeks for it.
Yeah, it'd be
once I release this episode.
Yeah, it would be different if it was a full-time show, but I don't think we really need any more part-time shows on the network. Unless it's something, specific. Like the ladies' night thing was something specific that we did.
Yeah.
So something like this where,
I still think Ladies' Night needs to be a regular show, though.
Well, of course. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Getting those women together is the other thing too. Is like there needs to be a topic. Like you're not going to be able to get our wigs to just talk about wrestling because they don't. So
right.
there needs to be something specific. So if we can come up with something,
you get them. You take a classic episode of a wrestling show.
Oh god.
And make them watch it. And then recap it.
Okay.
I see where this is going right now.
As they all get hammered.
Yeah, exactly. we got Jeff's girlfriend now because she was fucking fantastic.
She was.
I haven't listened to it. I start my weekend shift tomorrow, so
Wow.
Work time is my podcast listening time.
So tell me about it.
Kind of chips you munching on over there? Plain. Get some flavor up in that bitch.
I bring all the flavor, motherfucker. It's the leftover shit from Memorial Day.
Gotcha.
Hey, whatever debate you thought we were going to have tonight, I think it's all gone now because Troy and Ginger are now fans of AEW.
Well,
Instead, I think
no.
Yeah, but Ginger's not a fan of the Young Bucks still.
That's true.
No, I'm not. Yeah, that and I wasn't a fan for a specific reason. As you guys, I don't know if you guys saw me and Jason going back and forth on Facebook or not, but
I did not.
Sal doesn't have Facebook.
I don't. Fuck Facebook.
That's smart.
Literally, yeah. I got rid of it because of all the drama. It was like, this is fucking retarded.
Oh, I post bullshit and then wake up in the morning and watch people read the arguments like it's a fucking newspaper.
What are we drinking tonight, boys?
Yeah, that's about right. Lucky you.
Although I do have to get Lisa wine for tomorrow night.
I'm an adult. I can drink beer anytime. So can you.
I was
Why
like,
is that lucky me?
I don't drink anyway.
Yeah, I didn't have time to go to the Packy tonight. I'll go tomorrow. Friday, get paid.
Packy. I haven't heard it called a fucking Packy for so long.
What's going on, Jason?
I said, last week my wife had a bottle of wine and drank the entire fucking thing in a 45-minute podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
If you listen to the Bells podcast, you have to be drunk to review that shit.
But she wasn't listening at that point. She was just recapping.
She was.
That's true.
Yeah, she was doing
Drowning out the memories.
Well, talking about it is even worse.
Yeah, talking about it's even worse.
Well, she got mad at me because I was saving my last bottle of beer for the weekend, and she's like, "I'm drinking it, you're not." And I was like, "All right, well, I'll get some more for next week. Sorry."
Dude, I was so fucking confused by your episode last week
What do
when you said that they brought on that country singer, and I'm like you named her, and I'm like, who the fuck is that person?
I thought you.
And then you proceeded to to be like, no, nobody knows who she is. She has 20 followers on Twitter.
No.
I was impressed that we had 800 followers. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Once I saw her Twitter, and I'm like, oh my god, we have more followers than this chick. And she was, and she was on the Bella's podcast, and this was after the podcast hit. She should have gotten more than that. So it's I wonder how many she had before that.
Right?
Yeah. Clearly didn't leave a lasting impression on the Bella army, so. Yeah, trust me, dude, we were confused as well. And that was the problem, was both of us were like, shit, what are we going to fucking talk about? We don't know this chick, we don't care, you know? but we wound up having one of our longer episodes, so it worked out fine.
Well, it was either that or, you had the Sonya Deville episode where you... Yeah,
God. She was such a buzzkill.
What was your most embarrassing moment? I had to wear a dress. Wanted to fight someone.
Dude, no, it wasn't. Dude, it wasn't that. It was just it wasn't wearing a dress. It was I just didn't feel comfortable. It's then why the fuck did you do it? You're a grown ass woman. Just don't. It's Carmella. I'm sure she'll understand. And if she doesn't, fuck her.
Right. You probably kicked the shit out of her if you felt like it.
My biggest regret last night was that we turned it off before the Bruins lost in overtime.
Oh, my
Ginger's
God.
face.
That would have been some interesting audio.
I didn't watch any of the game until literally we got done, until the beginning of the third period. From what my buddy told me, we got our asses kicked the whole game. We were lucky to be in that game.
Yep.
But, yeah, shit happens, you win some, you lose some.
They're going to be hurt without Grizzly, though.
Oh, yeah. Did we share the live feed by chance if we're on YouTube yet? Yeah, okay. I'm going to go ahead and share that.
Should be on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
Fuck, I'm out of chips. All right.
You know your chips?
He's alright, time to record. I'm out of chips.
Hold on, let me share the links, too.
Alright. So What?
Huh?
Oh, that's true. Say something. So the trivia is going to be difficult, but
That's alright. I'm gonna kick the shit out of Jason. So,
well, I was doing
taking that fucking title.
I was
like all those times that you never did before.
exactly. Well, see, I was doing the trivia because I was writing it myself. I didn't grab it from anything else, and I was like, is this too difficult? And I was like, fuck it, trivia's supposed to be difficult. We'll run it in. But it's gonna be sort of unique in the way I did it. But I'll explain it on the show, so I don't have to explain it twice.
Perfect.
Why is Sammy Guevara's merchandise a panda bear?
That's his thing. He's the panda.
Is there a reason for it, or is it just some random thing you come up with?
I don't know.
All right. I was looking through the AEW merchandise because I'm always interested. I'm always curious to see what they have. And one of the things that Impact used to do was every one of their shirts were a knock at WWE. So I was like, let me take a look at it. But I was looking through it. I was like, no, this is just original stuff and good looking shirts, stuff like that. So I was very pleased. The only thing that I thought was maybe Ambrose's one says unscripted violence, and I was like, a little bit of a shot, but also kind of his character. So it was fine. But everyone else's are just their own style and stuff like that. And thankfully they don't have a fucking WWE template like they do. All their shirts have to have a big image on front, little shit on the fucking back of the neck.
I was gonna say such
as the shirt I'm wearing that has his logo on the front and words on the fucking back.
And it has the WWE official merchandise tag on the side somewhere.
It's so dude, we are live on YouTube, man. There are people listening to you crumple bags in front of your microphone.
Those fucking people should just be glad I have pants on. All right, it's.
No, I think they'd rather you not have pants on.
This camera's not that wide angled.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah, all girth, huh?
He is a girthy motherfucker.
Are you guys familiar with Lil Dicky at all?
Oh God, yeah, I love Little Dicky.
Okay, so I had never heard of him.
Oh,
And my niece, we were at her birthday party, and she's like, she puts on The Earth. And I'm like, okay, and I'm listening to the song. It's like, do, do, do. And I'm like, this fucking little kid song. It's like, I'm a fat fucking pig.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, where did that come from?
yeah. Dude.
Way out of left field.
So the first time I listened to Lil Dicky's first album.
Okay.
And so I've known him for a while. Now all of a sudden, like, he showed up in like a fucking Carl's Jr. commercial and shit like that. I was like, oh, fucking Little Dicky? So his first album, he put out free. He just like, here's the download links to it. Here's the album. Enjoy it. Because he was still more of like a joke now. Now he's got like fucking Drake supporting him, shit like that. So the way that I found him was because the first like song that he became famous for was a song about him like about to have sex with his girlfriend for the first time, and the whole song is that she's only been with one other dude, and then he winds up meeting one of her ex-boyfriends, and he's got a giant dick. So he like sees so like the video is funny as fuck, and the rapping is funny as fuck too. So yeah, it's all about like him just being like, I'm gonna have to break up with her because I can't compare to that. And it's like great lines like it's like a punching bag. This shit's so damn goddamn big. It's got abs. It's like he's got really fucking funny. But then like on that first album, So Hard, he's got a song where he just raps referencing sports things. So it's really good. I mean, it's dated at this point, you know, because it's like a couple of years ago, whatever that. But it's like, I'm like Shelvin. I know how to mac a hoe. I got girls in my penis. Flo is the meanest. Not Gilbert, but I'm selling out arenas. It's really good stuff.
I think my favorite was the Chris Brown Freaky Friday song.
Oh my god, that's how I got introduced to him.
I wonder if I could say the N-word.
Can I really say the N-word? Oh my god.
So like
that was my first exposure to him, and I was like, holy shit, this fucking guy's great.
He's really funny because like he was very self-deprecating, obviously. So like he's got a bunch of nicknames, you know. Obviously his name is Little Dicky, but he's also Mr. Leftwood Sloping Penis. And he always makes comments about like get on this mediocre dick and shit like that. So he's really good like that, but also like he just comes out and he says it's like, I started this as a joke and now like I'm getting big, you know, like he's a joke rapper. So he's got a song where it's called Go Ham. Well, he's obviously, you know, he's Jewish, so like the song Go Ham is talking about like, sorry to my synagogue, but I'm going ham because he's not supposed to eat meat. So but it's other things like there's one line where he's like, man, if guys like Fat Joe and Pitbull can say the N-word, I sure as fuck can say kike. It's like, dude, check out his first album, So Hard. You'll hear it. And like, obviously he's got a lot more production value on his new stuff now because he's got money thrown at him. But that first album that he did which was just like, I made a bunch of MP3s, turned it into an album. Here it is. Yeah. It's so really good, and there's some funny fucking videos too.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
All right. So let's go ahead and get this thing rolling here.
Real quick, Jason, have you seen the video for Earth?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say it's some fucked up shit.
Oh my goodness.
I wish
and
I
I'm Kanye West. What the fuck?
I wish I had a counter for every time I said let's go with this, and Sal said one more thing before I started recording. You like to just get that last little in there. All right.
Sal, you're up.
All right. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Wait, one more thing.
I know. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the... sorry, I was recording in Jeff's room. Welcome, everybody, to the Rundown Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Troy. With me for a super fucking special big-ass episode 400. The man that completes me, Jason, is here.
We're going 400 fucking hours to commemorate this 400th episode, or at least we're going to make it fucking feel like you're listening to us for 400 hours.
That's right. With us, yet again...
By the way, why did it sound like you were under Jeff's desk when you did that?
Because I was.
Oh, okay.
Sal is here.
8 years ago. 8 fucking years ago, the founder, who shall remain nameless, started this podcast. And here we are tonight, 400 episodes later, celebrating like a motherfucker.
And with us as well to complete this 4-person sausage fest, Ginger's here.
What's going on, guys? Good to be here. I haven't been here very long, but 400 episodes is a pretty big deal. So let's see what this episode brings.
If we make it to 500, I'm doing the show nude, just so you know.
There we go.
I'll join you.
It's
in your house.
It's rather funny that we're celebrating 400 episodes, and somehow I'm the longest reigning member of the show.
Yeah, but I have the longest penis.
That's
so.
true. I think I started around 180-ish, somewhere around there. I think Sal started soon after.
Well, I was a listener, but I remember when you used to do the
Sal wasn't on until after I fixed his computer, so I was on before Sal.
That's true. Oh, that's.
But no, that's not necessarily true. I used to leave voicemails.
Yeah,
that doesn't count. Yeah. That was Tommy.
Oh,
that's true.
Depends on the week.
Although we did blow the spot up about Raccoon Reigns last week, so we should probably just let everyone know that Sal was his own cousin Tommy.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
He's
so
fake, motherfucker.
Right. So I started off doing articles for the rundown, and also just doing the live shows, commenting on the side, leaving the most offensive things I could possibly come up with. Wound up taking over for Josh, and then wound up forcing him out, which I'm so proud of. Then obviously,
Which episode was that again?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I probably should now. Then, of course, Jason joined us about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Something like that. And then everything got awesome.
Yeah. Sal joined shortly after, then Ginger most recently. Obviously, Jeff as well is still somewhere. We know he's
Adam
out there.
quit.
Adam quit. He was on last week. I can't give him too much shit on that. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it because we have.
Oh, hold on. One thing you did mention during that was you used to leave comments on the side. Speaking of which, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can look to the right-hand side of your screen. There's a little chat box there. You can throw your thoughts and comments in there. We call it the Smathers Lounge. As always, clothing is optional, but opinions are not. You must just go in there, tell us what you think. We'll read it on the show, even if it's call us assholes. We'll read that on the show too. We don't care. We'll read whatever you put in there, and help us celebrate number 400.
That's right. So let's get into it because we've got a lot of dicks to talk about. We had round 2 of our tournament to crown the hottest WWE wrestler, and it was a very fun week.
Sal, you're up.
Start that now.
So
let them go through it. We got a lot of shit to get through tonight.
We got a total of 400 votes this week, and here are the results.
That's because you keep forgetting to share it every day.
Yeah.
I was putting in work during that women's tournament every day, motherfucker. I was on that grind.
I put in work 4 out of the 7 days.
He's a part-time employee.
You got to get on that grinder.
I know, right? I know. I've got a lot of work to do to get up to your level, but we are on another level because our first matchup was Drew McIntyre versus Eric Young. Jason, who's hotter?
Got to be Drew.
Ginger.
Drew.
Sal.
Drew.
Would you question Sal? Who would you rather have whisper sweet nothings in your ear? Drew McIntyre or Eric Young?
Drew McIntyre. I don't understand how Eric Young even got in this tournament, to be honest.
Who would you rather have whisper sweet nothings in your ear? Eric Young or Paul Heyman?
I'm a Heyman guy.
Okay. So, with a... Now, this matchup was not the biggest deficit in this week, but it was up there. With a vote of 333 to 67, Drew McIntyre moves on.
Yeah, the ladies love Drew.
Mm-hmm. The accent.
Drew.
He's also like a fucking chiseled Adonis too, so...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Right? I was like 6'8", friggin' cut from a stone.
And not to say that...
Wait, are you talking about Drew McIntyre or me?
Not Not to say that Eric Young is not also ripped, but it's the voice and the face as well. Anyways, moving on to Alistair Black versus Elias. This one was a little bit closer. But before we get into that, Sal, Elias or Alistair Black?
Elias.
Ginger.
Alistair has a really weird shaped head, so I'm gonna go Elias.
Jason.
I'm gonna say that the ladies went Alistair because he's got the dark tattooed look. He looks like a bad boy. I'm gonna say the ladies like Alistair.
Okay. Jason, better accent, Drew McIntyre, Alistair Black?
Drew McIntyre.
Okay. With a vote of 218 to 182, Elias moves on.
Okay. The ladies want to walk with Elias. Okay.
That's right. And then that brings us to our closest matchup this week, Mike Kanellis versus Daniel Bryan. Not gonna lie, a little surprised that this was close.
Right?
Ginger, who you got?
Mike Kanellis.
Homer. Jason.
I mean, he looks like an environmental asshole, but you're telling me he's a good dad, so I'm gonna go with Daniel Bryan.
I wanna make that clear. I called you a Homer. Sal.
Hey, Mike Kanellis is a good dad, too. I'm going with Mike Kanellis.
Have we really seen it?
Mike Kanellis has been a dad for like 10 minutes, though.
Well, I mean, come on now.
By a vote of 206.
By the way, do you guys know Mike and Maria's contracts are up in 3 weeks?
Really?
Would it be 2 weeks at this point or no?
I don't know.
By a vote of 206 to 194. He finally won something. Mike Kanellis moves on.
Hey!
Hey, I'm on 205 Live this week.
That's true, he did. I had that joke in my head, and then that happened, and I was like, "Whoa, what the fuck, man?"
Joke anyway.
Our next matchup: Daddy Dash versus Rusev. Rissa, by the way, just recently was taken to Twitter, and people were asking him to please, leave WWE and go to AEW. And he responded with, "Don't tell me what to do." So,
Can we start sharing this stuff on the Rundown Twitter and tag these wrestlers in it and see if they retweet any of them retweet it?
sure, I can do that.
Yeah, I'd just be curious if anybody cares enough about being the hottest dude that they retweet it.
You know, I tried it with the women on a couple of them and never got any traction at all. But I'll try it with the guys. Some
I
of
think
them might
hot
be.
women. Yeah, I think hot women are less sort of.
They know they're hot.
Yeah, exactly. I think
just
they're
like,
less apt to sort of try to rub it in and look like they're being catty or anything.
I'll rub it in, all right.
Whereas dudes are like, fucking.
Yeah. We'll see. You know, Big E's in this tournament, so I think he'd probably be the one that we most likely to say something about it. Sal, who you got? Daddy Dash or Rusev?
Well, I think the ladies' night episode convinced me that Dash is he's a sex symbol, guys. It's got to be Dash.
Apparently, man. Although some of the comments that we got on the website made it seem like this was the most difficult one for people to pick. I don't know if it's just because it's two thick bears or what, but you know, Jason.
He's out in the cornfields, so
I feel like
You
you
gotta love-
transcribe the show now and are just like searching for
you
lines.
gotta love it, dude, out in the cornfield. So I'm just going with Dash.
I really hope that Dash is from like California or something like that. Ginger.
I'd probably go Dash because he's stuck up for Bret Hart.
Fair enough. By a vote of 282 to 118, Daddy Dash moves on. Our next matchup, EC3 versus Shelton Benjamin. Now, of course, everyone knows my wife was very upset with the fact that this guy had a number in his name. But let's see how everyone else voted. So, Ginger, EC3 or Shelton?
Shelton. I think EC3 is just... He's got a fucked up looking face.
It's that nose, man.
Yeah.
It's too like flat.
For the record, I was gonna vote for EC3, but then Dean Ambrose got more cheers at a house show, so I'm going with Shelton Benjamin.
Fair enough. Sal.
Shelton. EC3's got that fucked up smile.
Well, let me tell you something. With a vote of 275 to 125, that fucked up smile's moving on, baby. EC3 advances.
Saw it coming a mile away.
Our next matchup was the second biggest differential. Randy Orton versus Akira Tozawa.
Wait, who is it?
Russian spy.
Russian
Randy.
spy.
Oh, okay,
Randy
thank you.
Orton.
That's what I thought.
Jason. Dick fingers or Tozawa?
You gotta. The lady. I'm guessing the ladies want to collude with Randy Orton. So.
Ginger.
Orton.
Sal.
The Viper.
Yeah, 337 to 63. 84% of the votes. Randy Orton moves on. Then our next matchup, Mustafa Ali versus Lindsay Dorado. Now, of course, the ladies enjoyed Lindsay despite the fact that they couldn't see his face, or maybe because of the fact they couldn't see his face. I'm not sure. But let's see how everyone else voted here. Sal, Ali or Dorado?
I think the mystery wins out here. It's got to be Dorado, right?
Ginger.
I'd go Ali.
Jason.
Ali seems like a good dude you could hang out with, so I'd go Ali.
All right, with a vote of 297 to 103, Mustafa Ali. And our final matchup, and
Even with that picture of Dorado, huh?
hey man, I put his best dick forward, man, and it didn't.
There you go.
Our final matchup of the week and the biggest differential: Seth Rollins versus Jack Gallagher.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Well, Jack Gallagher's got that pussy tickler, so
Yes, he does. But Seth Rollins has that dick. That you know.
Wait, did you put that picture on there?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I was trying, but I did try to find one where Seth Rollins was doing like the limbo, because his dick is kind of like a limbo pole, but couldn't find anything. So Jason, Seth Rollins' dick or Jack Gallagher's pussy tickler?
Seth Rollins. Ladies went Seth.
Ginger,
Rollins.
Sale.
How is this even a matchup? Rollins.
By a vote of 354 to 46, Seth Rollins moves on. So, that will take us there.
Jack Gallagher looks like what? Mayonnaise? Is that what Jeff's girlfriend said? Or string cheese? That's what it was.
No,
Oh my
mozzarella
God.
cheese. That's what it was.
Mozzarella cheese. Yeah, and she called him, I think, a mozzarella motherfucker later. So our matchups that you can head on over to rundownwrestling.com right now and vote for. The first one, Ricochet versus Bray Wyatt. Cesaro versus Jeff Hardy.
That'd be an interesting one.
Matt Hardy versus Humberto Carrillo. Chad Gable versus Sheamus. Sami Zayn versus Kurt Hawkins. Buddy Murphy versus Harper. Curtis Axel versus Apollo Crews. And The Miz versus Heath Slater.
I'm just glad Buddy Murphy gets mentioned on one wrestling-related show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try. So let's go ahead. I lost my chat. Where'd my chat go?
There's nothing going on yet.
Okay. Why did I lose my chat? Weird.
So far, it's just John and Big Kane confirming that the
Okay.
chat is on Facebook, so we're good.
Well, thanks, John and Big Kane, for joining us this night. It is time to talk about Double or Nothing.
Again.
Again. So we are going to go ahead and do a very truncated run-through of Double or Nothing, because if you would like to hear an in-depth conversation about it, check out the Blender this week, where two of our co-hosts here, Jason and Sal, did an awesome job of reviewing and giving their feelings on Double or Nothing. Now, obviously, me and Ginger were not a part of that, so we will give a little bit of what we thought of the show. But here is our AEW Double or Nothing recap. We started things off with the buy-in pre-show. Now, me personally, I prefer... You guys talked about it on the Blender, that it was great that they named their show Nothing Compared to the Mountain Dew Kickstart Show, but you know.
I just like that it fit the theme of the rest of the show.
That was complete sarcasm. This was
I
a
know.
good So here's the thing. It is very difficult in 2019 to come up with a new gimmick for a match. We have seen a couple of different promotions try to come up with a new gimmick for things, and normally they fall fucking flat. Like the reverse battle royale in Impact.
I was gonna say like TNA.
So how do you make a battle royale more interesting? I think they did a phenomenal job of making a battle royale more interesting. And they did it by doing this. We had 5 competitors start the match, and then we had 5 more added after 3 minutes, and then 5 more added after that, and then 5 more added at, and then Lucky 21 was your last entrant coming in after everyone else has already been eliminated. No, I'm just kidding. And of course, the winner of this match was going to receive a future shot at the AEW World Championship, whenever that may be. Bret Hart was very confused as to when it was going to happen, but again, I'm going to go ahead and start by taking the time. Sal said that we should give Bret Hart a little bit of credit because he's a stroke victim. Yeah, the other guy on commentary is a stroke victim, and he did acceptable.
I was gonna say not that much better.
Not great, but acceptable.
See, I wasn't a huge fan of the format of this battle royal. I do see the room for improvement. I think some of the issues were production related. I think unlike all of the entrants, the concept has legs. So
okay, all right. So
took you a second.
Took me
Okay,
a second. That one did take me a second. So our entrants in this: Sonny Kiss, Brandon Cutler, Ace Romero. I don't think his pectorals counted as a separate competitor, but probably should have.
Jesus.
Glacier, Brian Pillman Jr., Sunny Days, MJF, Joey Janela, Dustin Thomas, Billy Gunn, Jimmy Havoc, Michael Nakazawa, Jungle Boy, Isaiah Cassidy, Mark Quinn, Luchasaurus, Sean Spears, and then our 4 mystery people: Orange Cassidy, Marco Stunt, Tommy Dreamer, and Adam Page. Now, to me, my issue that I had with throughout the night, and it's not anything to do with AEW, it's completely on me, is that I don't know a lot of the people here. Obviously, if they start using these guys on TV, I will get to know them. So it was a lot of like, there were certain people that I knew that I was like, okay, I know these guys, I'm rooting for them. There are other guys like, I have never fucking seen Dustin Thomas before, so I was like, okay, sure.
See, and that's where, if you were a regular follower of the Double or Nothing, Road to Double or Nothing series, or Being the Elite, they sort of did a nice job on those shows of doing promo packages for a lot of these guys to sort of tell you their backstory. They did a great moment with, God, what's his name? God, I'm blanking. Brandon Cutler, where he's been doing the video work for the Young Bucks forever for Being the Elite, and he was a sort of a struggling independent wrestler, and they signed him to a contract, and he had the moment where he called his wife and told him that he was now going to be a full-time wrestler, and so very emotional, very like relatable. So I think that helped a lot. Sunny Days, they did a great story on. So they did build these guys up a little bit. But if you didn't follow that series, and Michael Nakazawa has been a recurring punchline on Being the Elite for a long time now. So
yeah, and like I said, that's why I said it's on me. I haven't watched Being the Elite. I haven't been following it. Once they get to TV, you're going to have a lot of those people who have maybe never heard of most of these guys, and that's where, once they do get the show, we're going to start seeing some of the stuff that they've been doing on Being the Elite actually on TV, that I think you're going to start seeing a lot of these guys be able to come forward and utilize the talent they have.
Yeah,
it's very. Go ahead.
John on the side said he followed this on Twitter because $50 is steep for one event when he's accustomed to $10 a month for pay-per-views, and that's a fair point. The market has sort of been set, and we'll see if they can sustain this price point over an extended period of time. But he did say the buzz behind it makes him much more likely that he would opt in for the next one.
Yeah, and WWE, even when they had the network, they still continue to do pay-per-views for people who don't have the network,
Yeah.
and that price point is actually lower than what WWE normally charges for it.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, I
But-
mean, we could definitely see once they do get on TNT that they might do some kind of streaming, service for the pay-per-views and stuff like that, and maybe do, hook up with. I know, like Bleacher Report, they've been talking about doing some of the streaming and stuff like that. I don't know if that's something that you have to pay for or how much you have to pay for, but that's definitely an option as well. But right now, this is a special big fucking event, and they definitely made it feel like a big event. So the other thing too. Go ahead.
Sorry, as it relates to this, my biggest issue was when I think it was the second or the first group to come out, not the first 5, but the first group to come out after the initial 5. They announced they were coming out, and then it's like nobody cued the guys so that they didn't come out, and there's a long break in between, and all of a sudden they're coming out fighting, or 4 of them did, and then it's just like, oh, and Sean Spears by himself, and it was just very weird and awkward, and no music, and then the next group got music, and it was just, again, like I said, I think a lot of the issues I had with this were just production related and something that they can work out later.
Yeah. I'm definitely not going to slam any of the production issues they had, because obviously, yes, this is a huge undertaking for them. This is their first show that they didn't have like the ROH and New Japan kind of support behind them. So this was for them the first time they've actually done something big here. And some of the production issues that they had happen in WWE, and that company's been around for decades. So it's
For over 50 years.
Yeah,
The leader.
yeah. So the guys who really got kind of a shine, Luchasaurus with 4 eliminations, really was made to be a big deal.
Now, I was curious about this because Sal and I even mentioned it. You were very critical of Luchasaurus when you saw him on Ring of Honor in the past. Now, my take was he's done some tweaks to the character. He looks a lot different, and I thought he performed a lot better. And even, obviously, the guys in charge thought they did too because they signed him after the event. But yeah, I thought he looked much more menacing and much more dangerous in this than he did in his ROH run.
Yeah, so Luchasaurus is a guy I've known for a while. He is Austin Draven, and in NXT he was Draven Atkins. Then he was Judas,
on Big
Judas
Brother
Devlin.
once, too.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was. He then changed into Judas Devlin when he was in NXT. Eventually got released. Wound up on Big Brother, wound up losing that season, but talked a lot on there about wrestling and things like that. Really came across, showed his personality and stuff like that. I enjoyed him on that, but so when I saw him in ROH and obviously when I saw him a little bit in Lucha Underground, he was still sort of trying things out with the character, and the people that they were putting him against weren't exactly conducive to his abilities either. So, whereas a Battle Royale sort of plays more to his abilities as, a powerhouse, kind of a slower moving guy, and one of the problems in the Indies right now is a powerhouse, slower moving guy is not the norm anymore. So, unless you're Brian Malonis. But yeah, so I thought he did a really good job. I thought they gave a good shine to him. A couple other guys, obviously Orange Cassidy, never heard of him before, never seen him before. Was very interested with his little fake chops to things like that. Wound up googling some things on him. I saw him do an arm drag with his arms in his pockets, which I thought was really good.
If you go on YouTube, Beyond Wrestling has a free match they've posted on YouTube between Orange Cassidy and Smiley Kylie Ray, which was entertaining.
Sure.
You should check it out.
Yeah. So I also saw a match between him and Christopher Daniels, where Christopher Daniels was doing the
God, that was amazing.
Fake slaps back to him and things like that. And
it was actually entitled Orange Cassidy Shoots on Christopher Daniels.
Yes, it was, which was great. So yeah, I mean, something like that. The guy instantly, just by doing that little shtick during the match, got a lot more eyes on him. He definitely utilized the position to gave him in. But the ending of this match, they tried to do the Bailey finish a little bit, where somebody hides into the ring and comes in, but instead Paige winds up cutting MJF off. I'm not a huge fan of that being the ending. I would have liked it more for that not to have happened, but I get it. It's his character. MJF is kind of an asshole. So
yeah.
But Ginger, what did you think of the Casino Battle Royale?
I tuned in about a quarter of the way through. It was okay. Definitely like the concept of it, like everybody else. Like you said, though, also you can't really knock the production. That shit's gonna happen regardless, especially on such a big stage.
And your first time out, yeah.
But yeah, that's what I mean. So you can't really pick at that. But overall, I liked it. A stable gun to the nuts to Tommy Dreamer and stuff like that. It kept the crowd into it. It was definitely a good start for the show.
And I liked that, unlike WWE with their pre-show, they put a match that people would be interested in because there were some severe stakes attached to this match with a shot at the championship. So they gave you right off the bat a match that had some importance. That wasn't just I don't give a shit if I watch that or not.
Exactly. Yep. So none of us wound up picking. Oh no, sorry.
Speak for yourself.
Jason wound up picking Hangman Page as the winner of this. Sorry, you're next line under on my screen here. So yeah, good on you, Jason there. So then our other pre-show match was Sammy Guevara against Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian winds up going over. This was such a crapshoot for us because like any of us are really familiar with either guy or
I've
both guys,
seen
I should say.
Sammy Guevara quite a bit, but
Kip Sabian
not as familiar. I will say to me one of the spot of this match for sure. Sammy Guevara with the shooting star press onto the ringside barricade.
Yeah, so you
dangerous.
So you guys, you guys kind of talked about it on the show about some of the spots that were very close to the crowd, or in Jericho's case, involved the crowd.
Yeah.
And it does make me very curious on once October rolls around if we see them not do that anymore, because of the fact being on live TV and stuff like that. Makes it a little bit more difficult, or what do you think on that?
If you listen to Cody's presser afterwards, he made reference to the fact that there are going to be things that they save, like the blood and whatever, that they're going to save for the pay-per-views. It's not going to be something on TV. It's going to be something special for the big events. So it's probably something along those lines.
Okay, all right. It just worries me a little bit, just because of the fact that a lot can go wrong there. We've seen it even in WWE when guys go through the crowd and stuff like that. Yep. I mean, CM Punk punched a motherfucker, the wrong motherfucker, but still punched a motherfucker. So,
but I think they'll keep it to specific people, like the shooting star one. I think they'll only have who was it? Sam that did it. Yeah. So kind of like the RVD situation where he did it with the spinning leg drop.
Yeah, but that was the guy who was draped across the barricade. It wasn't like the fans were ever in any danger. Like the Jericho.
Oh yeah, no, they were never in danger, but
Omega almost wiped out the front row when on that spot later on. So that was a little bit different.
You know what though? I'm thinking that it's not any different than what we typically get at Full Sail. I mean, I've seen people go through the crowd at Full Sail, or if they do like the brawls with the Undisputed, that they get really close to the fans, and I don't think it's egregious. I like Cody said, they'll keep certain things for pay-per-view and certain things they'll do on TNT, but
you're not going to see it every show, regardless, even if they work, because you got to keep some shit special, and I'm sure that's basically what Cody was saying. But who knows?
We'll see.
So one thing about Sammy and Kip that I kind of didn't mention on the blender. So in the past few years, I've gone to local shows a lot more, and there was a bunch of times where like I don't know who's performing, so I kind of go into it with, well, show me something. You know what I mean? And that's how I felt about this match, because even though I was a little bit familiar with Sammy Guevara, I wasn't familiar with Kip Sabian at all, and I thought these two guys did show me something. I thought they did great, and I'm actually was kind of surprised Kip Sabian went over.
That brings us to the main show, where SoCal Uncensored, which would be Daniels, Kazarian, and Scorpio Sky, took on Strong Hearts, Shima, T-Hawk, and El Lindemann. Dude, don't even get me started. So, obviously, I'm familiar with SoCal Uncensored from their ROH days. Not so much familiar at all with Strong Hearts, other than I've seen some of their moves, that they've done things like that, because obviously they're high flyers, and I see a lot of clips and stuff like that from different things. But this I thought was a great match to start the main show off of, because you're cashing in on that crowd knowing SoCal Uncensored, and you're cashing in on the fact that these 6 guys are going to burn it down, and they did. I mean, fucking 46-year-old Christopher Daniels, and
yeah, you'd never fucking know it. He wrestles like he did 10 years ago,
right? And Kazarian, I think, is over 40 as well.
Yep.
And it's just fucking crazy that and Dan, we talk a lot about AJ Styles being able to do a lot of things, at the age of 40, but he changed up his style a lot from when he was younger. Daniels has always done this. And
I was gonna say Daniels did the exact same fucking shit he did in TNA in 2005.
And that's what's crazy about it, is like he still manages to do these big fucking moves, these just big strong moves, and it's like, he's a guy that's obviously very successful throughout his entire career, but maybe a little underrated in terms of his ability, and in terms of just his booking as well, because he's always that guy who's sort of like around the main event, but not like the main event.
If only he had been the higher power.
I know.
Yep.
Right? That always, I think, is kind of an interesting thing. Like, what if they would have brought Christopher Daniels in as, would we have seen him, become something in WWE?
Who knows? I thought Scorpio Sky really made a great, for probably the guy in terms of SoCal Uncensored that's the least known nationally. But I think he's done a lot over the last couple months in Ring of Honor, and now here to really showcase himself and make people stand up and take notice of him.
Yeah, Scorpio's that guy that, like, if you took Daniels and Kazarian away, he'd be impressive. But, like, you put Daniels and Kazarian with him, and, like, he's a little bit in their shadow, just because of how good they are, and obviously the longevity on them as well. But yeah, I mean,
all you need to know about how over these guys are is that they start the show by telling you what a shithole you live in, and you still cheer for them.
They cheer everything. Yeah. I mean, these are the guys who walk around in gear saying this is the worst town we've ever been in, and and people buy that shit.
Can we applaud for a second Christopher Daniels' notion? Like, this is our favorite worst town.
Oh my gosh! It's that sort of character work where these guys just live their character, and they know what their character are, and what they can do and what they can't do. And yeah, I mean, Strong Hearts obviously, like, they're great. They're really good workers, but they don't have that sort of charisma that SoCal Uncensored has.
I disagree. So. Like I said on the Blender, I thought Chima was a star here. I thought Chima made a great accounting for himself.
Yeah, I can see that. But the other two, I mean, it's 6 really talented guys. So obviously you're going to have some guys that are going to have to take a little bit of a backseat. But yeah, I mean,
El Lindemann needs some knee pads though.
It does look fucking weird.
I
don't know.
He's one of those guys that does make it look weird. Like, I don't think Tyler Bate looks weird, but
it does a little bit.
Tyler Bate looks a little weird, dude.
But El Lindemann looks weird.
Dude, I'm a big fan of Cesaro, but when he had those little leg straps instead of knee pads, it looked fucking weird, dude.
Oh, I remember that.
I don't know if it's just because of the fact that, like, it's what I'm
it looks
used
like
to
underwear.
Seeing. Yeah, it's I don't know if it's just because it's used to what I'm seeing on wrestlers or not, but it doesn't work for me.
Yep.
Ginger, anything to say on the tag match here?
No, good opener. It got the crowd going, and back to your point, it was people that they started the show with people that you knew. So, and kudos to them.
Right on. So that took us to our first of 2 women's matches on the show. Dr. Britt Baker, Kylie Ray, and Nyla Rose. Before the match started, though, Eden Styles comes out, and it seems like she's going to join in on the fun. This, I don't know. You guys mentioned it on the Blender. Was it maybe a little bit of a shot at Stephanie with the fact that like this is something that people always talk about. Stephanie has to insert herself in all women's stuff and things like that. Was it maybe a little veiled shot at them to be like, here it goes. Here's the fucking woman boss.
She's been sort of positioned as the head of the women's division on the Being the Elite show.
Mm-hmm.
So it did play into that. I definitely got a very Stephanie vibe from Brandy on this show. Like I mentioned on the Blender, it was sort of weird. All the rest of the Elite guys were sort of playing face, and Brandy seemed to be playing heel and seemed to be the only one playing heel, which was a little weird, especially later on when she sort of heels in the middle of Cody's match, where Cody's been so over as a face. But yeah, no, all things considered, I thought this was a good introduction for some of these women.
To continue, instead of announcing Brandy Rhodes as the fourth member of this, she brings out Awesome Kong. Now, this was Kong's return to wrestling.
Eden Styles brought out Awesome Kong!
So,
oh my god.
So, on paper, if when we looked at this match at first, you've got Britt Baker, who's sort of who was the favorite to win this match.
Mm-hmm.
I chose Kylie Rae because I thought, well, they'll go with a little bit of the underdog story.
Wait a second, how did Ginger pick Awesome Kong when she wasn't even announced for the match?
That's a good question. Why is there a G down there? Doesn't matter anyways, but apparently. So when I took a look at this, I was like, well, it's either going to be Britt Baker or Kylie Rae. If Britt Baker wins, you're sort of like, okay, I expected that. If Kylie wins, you're like, okay, underdog story. If Nyla wins, you'd be like, holy shit, I can't believe they had Nyla win. When they brought out Awesome Kong, it shifted that dynamic where suddenly you're like, this is Awesome Kong's match to lose, and now Britt Baker has to overcome somebody who, by all accounts, is like the bigger star, the bigger name, but also just a tough woman, So they wound up taking a match that, for all accounts, was like, yeah, Britt Baker will win it, to being like, oh, like maybe she won't win it now, and that's a good booking way of doing it, So even though Britt Baker does win, but
so it was good booking. It helped booking wise. It helped Britt Baker, but I think it hurt Nyla Rose. Like I said on the Blender.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. I thought if you would have had, like Penelope Ford or somebody else like that in there, then you can kind of say it. But yeah, like you've got Nyla Rose, who is supposed to be the big bruiser of this. Yeah. She's essentially the Nia Jax of the women's division, stuff like that. And then you bring in like a stronger woman.
Right.
You're just like, oh, okay, well, like unless they eventually team up.
Right. And I would have instantly been there if it was Penelope Ford, because I didn't get nearly enough Penelope Ford on this show for my liking.
Right.
That's true.
Well, technically, you didn't get any on the show proper, so.
Yeah, that's true. I suppose this is a good point. This is a good point in the show to reference the fact that apparently while this match was going on, there was a guy in the audience apparently being very transphobic and taking some shots at Nyla Rose. Proceeded to do so on Twitter as well. And then sort of glorified his actions on Twitter, talking about, mocking the guy next to him who told him to stop being an asshole.
Call him a nerd.
Yeah.
Nerd.
And the end result of this was that the Bucks caught wind of it and basically banned the guy from all fucking future AEW events, and good on fucking them.
So of course the guy was sitting there going, well, I thought AEW was for everybody. No, AEW is for everybody that aren't assholes. Like, like when they say things like that, like the whole like Balor Club is for everyone and stuff like that. They don't mean that like AEW is for KKK members. They mean like it's for people with autism. It's for people that are transgender, people that are non-binary, things like that. It's
the best equivalent is like when people get upset like that the Black Lives Matter and we're like, well, what about white lives? Like those lives already matter. They're not handled with the same level of just sort of throwing away. That's the fucking point. Like yes, it's already for the straight white dudes. We know that. Like this is their way of saying we're including all these other groups who for years haven't been included in this process.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest egotistical thing that you get from Atlanta's people is sitting there. What about me? Like, well, you're not.
What about Raven?
You're not disenfranchised. Like,
Right.
you already have everything handed to you. These people need somebody to come.
You are the majority.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, we were talking about in the host thread. One of the things that AEW and the Bucks and Cody did for this was they made it, an all-inclusive event. And one of the things they did was, people that have autism sometimes are not able to go to these shows, and are not because of the condition that they have. And because of the fact that the noise and being around so many people and things like that can really just ruin their time,
Yeah.
So they turned around and they had these bags that normally run $25, and they were handing them out for free, to anyone who was autistic. And they came with like fidget toys. They came with headphones, so that noise canceling headphones, stuff like that. They had a nice fucking AEW bag, which I'd fucking want. And then they also had special rooms that if shit was, even with all that shit was going wrong for them, they were able to go to those rooms, watch it on TV, sit in a beanbag chair, and and get some time to collect themselves. Go ahead.
So they have partnered with a group to that end, and their promise to this point, at least, has been that they're going to have those rooms at every event they do. And to give credit where it's due, this was apparently one of Brandy Rhodes's causes that she really pushed for as part of this. So just to make sure she gets appropriate credit for that.
Yeah, very much so. And the name is, one second, Culture City with a K. So if you can go to culturecity.org, like I said, with a K, to learn more about that. And like I said, so the sensory inclusive bag, like I said, normally runs $25. They also did training for all of the staff on hand there. And they had, one of the things with the bags is they handed out these lanyards, so that way the staff could see, okay, this is somebody that that needs special attention, because they've got the lanyard, they have autism. They had little cards, to kind of say, so like if there was an issue, they could call over one of the guys and point to the card, and the person would be like, okay, I understand. Let's get you over to that room, and let's get you out of the situation and make sure that you have a good time.
Yep.
And that's fucking great. So, anyone who's looking to be more supportive for autism awareness and things like that, definitely check out Culture City. Definitely, they are a group that continues to do a lot of good things. And partnering with AEW is great as well. Go ahead.
What they did not do is use this as a cause to, oh, hey, if you buy some more of our T-shirts, we'll send a small donation to this cancer-causing cure, this cancer foundation.
And, they didn't talk about it on the show.
I was going to say, you know what else they didn't do? They didn't, toot their own horn for half an hour at the beginning of the show about it. Like,
no, I mean, to be fair, they did do it at leading into it, but it was more
on the
just
episode
to bring awareness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it wasn't like, look at us. Like,
right.
There's a difference.
They weren't breaking their arm, jerking themselves off. Just put it that way. Like they were definitely saying
they weren't bringing all the autistic people into the ring with presenting them championship belts.
It wasn't a parade. It wasn't a complete segment over that. No, it was here. We need to get this out so we can let people know, hey, you can be included in this event.
Right.
And then we're not going to bring attention to you, because that's very detrimental to people that do have autism. Like, they don't want a fucking spotlight shined on them. Right. They don't want to be dragged into the ring. That'll really not be fucking good. Again, AEW continue. It's one thing to say things like, we're going to change the world, we're going to change the wrestling world and stuff like that. That could easily just be a company tagline. It's another thing to actually do things like this and show, put your money where your mouth is, and actually show that we are doing the things that we're saying we're doing. We're trying all of these different things. We're trying to be as inclusive as possible, and we're not patting ourselves on the back for it. We're just doing it.
So between that, the banning of the transphobic individual, and the fact that some people mentioned to Matt Jackson that they had created some GIFs that were removed by copyright, and they said no, fuck that,
Yep.
we're fixing that, and changed it and allowed people to put up the gifs of the show. It feels like where WWE continuously fails on every level of public relations and PR and interaction with fans and taking care of the public, AEW is off to a fantastic start in that regard. So
Right, and it's one of those things where there's no harm in it,
Nope.
Right.
I completely understand if somebody's trying to sell like bootleg AEW shirts to someone, they're just trying to make a buck off people.
yeah,
Go after them, yeah. But something sharing a fucking gift to Twitter, like they're not.
that's
getting anything out of it.
exposure for your product.
Exactly, yeah. Because you know what? When half the time when you see those kind of things, what are one of the comments that are always on it? What's that? Where can I find more about that? And
Yeah.
then it spirals from there, and you start getting a whole new fucking fan base out of it.
Yep.
Well, let's keep going here. The best friends, Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, took on Angelico and Jack Evans. Jack Evans is another one of those guys who's been around for a long fucking time.
That's true.
And he's good.
Jack Evans.
Go ahead.
Jack Evans has never succeeded to the level Jack Evans should have, but
Yeah.
that's mostly because of Jack Evans.
Yep.
So
Yeah. Jack Evans was a guy that Daniel Bryan toted him very high. And Daniel Bryan talked about him, in his book and things like that too, about like him trying to get Jack Evans, into the WWE and stuff like that, and it just never worked.
stop being an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say Cole Cabana said the same thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, Jack Evans has all the makings of somebody who could be a big deal, and through his own actions has just kind of shot himself in the foot. But obviously Trent Beretta is a guy who's been around for a while. Very talented tag team guy, but also a good singles guy too. Did a little bit of a singles run, and then he's right back into a tag team now. So
He's another guy who has a lot of animosity towards WWE as well.
yes,
If you ever
yes, very
follow
much
him.
so, yeah. And then Chuck Taylor, of course, one of the most successful comedy wrestlers that I think has ever been, but actually funny comedy wrestlers. I mean, like when you get into his matches, it's going to be silly. I mean, this is a guy who used to throw invisible grenades into the middle of the ring and blow the rest of the people up. It's shit like that. But in terms of the match, I liked it. I only knew half of these guys. I had 3/4 of it. I'm not really familiar with Angelico, but he did good. I enjoyed him.
Yeah.
Nothing really kind of stood out to me though. So it was.
To me, this was the best I've seen Best Friends look.
Okay.
I saw them in Ring of Honor quite a bit. To me, this was their best performance.
Fair enough. Ginger.
I didn't see this match.
Fair enough. Sal, did you have anything to say before we move on to the next match?
They could use some different gear. Gear was a little bit offensive on the neon side.
Oh man.
And Helico and Jack Evans.
It was a weird gear.
It stood out though. You're talking about it.
That's true.
It did stand out. And then was it the Bucks and Bros had almost identical gear in their
Yeah.
match? That was obviously you can tell the difference, but still, two of them wear masks, two of them don't. But on first glance, you're just like, are they all a team?
So this was where, to me, the post match here was where we had our first real faux pas by the AEW guys, because we had the debut of Super Smash Bros, but they never identified them.
Right.
And I think the way they brought them in by having the lights go out, that has set such a standard in wrestling that you do the lights out, that it's a huge surprise and a huge star. And these guys, as good as they are not well known enough for that type of build-up, and it turned the crowd on them right off the bat, including the "Who are you?" chant.
Well, not only that, but they've changed their names over time too, right? Because didn't they used to be Player 1, Player 2, then Player Uno, Player Dos?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
and then
right.
now
That's
they
right.
Oh, okay.
As soon as you said that, all of a sudden I remembered that they
Yeah.
used to be called that.
Yeah, so it was kind of like, all right, well, what do you call this time? And then
I mean, they've been Super Smash Bros now for quite a while.
right, but I meant the actual guys' names, So when they say the actual guys' names, you're just like, okay.
But they didn't.
Yeah, exactly. If they would have said the names, I would have been like, is that what they're calling them now? But yeah, if you're going to do something like this, you gotta have it planned out a little bit better than that. You gotta have, if you're not going to call them Super Smash Brothers, then call them something different. And if you're going to have them attack, you've got a screen over there. Throw their fucking names up on it.
Like,
You know?
of the two surprise entrances, they almost should have flipped. Like, the lights out should have been the
Yeah.
guy at the end.
Yep.
Well, yeah, yes. You know, it's funny because at All In, when they did the lights out and the lights came back on, it was the reveal of Jericho.
Right.
He was under the hood, and the lights came back on for the Super Smash Brothers, and everybody in the arena went, "Huh?
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that?"
Including the announcers, which was
including
the
the
worst part of it.
announcers.
Jesus.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a great debut for him, and obviously, you know, AEW is trying to put an emphasis on tag team wrestling. So to kind of to kind of Dustin Thomas your tag team guys here, it's kind of a bummer, but we'll see going forward what happens there. Plenty of more time. So then we got to a match that now look, I loves me some Asians. But this match didn't need to be on the card.
No, not at all.
Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, Emi Sakura took on Hikaru Shida, Riho, and Ryo Mizunami. And that second team one, I'm not going to say their names again because I butchered them. It was just okay. You know, it wasn't bad. I'm not gonna say it was bad.
It was just there.
It was.
No, to be honest, it was probably better wrestling than some of the shit we get from the women on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But the biggest thing is like even your diehard indie fans don't know these ladies.
Right.
You know, I mean, maybe some of them know Aja Kong,
Yeah.
but most of these other ones, like, no, you know,
Right.
and it just it none of them I thought got to really shine either because it's a 6-person match, so you're not giving any of them really that time on like one-on-one time really, and like I said, I mean, and plus like it really felt like the cool down match that it was,
Yeah.
and because we
And
knew what was
exactly
coming
what it
next.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, with how, I mean, the show wasn't incredibly long, but for sure, like, you could have cut this. There was maybe too many matches in it.
My only, thing I'll say about that is that you're a new company, this is your first show, you're going to debut new personalities. This may not have been the spot, and maybe we'll see more from these girls going forward, or when they get TV, but that I can think that's it. They were just trying some things,
Yeah, I just think that the placement could have been a little bit better. You're best friends, and that match probably could have gone on before Cody and built up the crowd a little bit more for the Cody and
Right.
whereas this match was definitely kind of a piss break match. Sorry, girls.
Well, that's actually better placement then, because you got what you thought clearly was going to be a hot spot with the Super Smash Bros, and then you go immediately into another hot match with Cody. You put something in between to cool it down.
All right, Ginger, do you have anything to say about this one, or did you quit?
Didn't see it.
All right. So that took us to the American Nightmare Cody versus the Natural Dustin Rhodes.
Just for the record, Dustin Rhodes.
I know. I just was.
You went at me pretty hard last week on that one, so
That's
No, he
because-
said that on the billing it said Cody versus Dustin.
It's
and
Cody
I said
versus
on the
Dustin.
show they had said Dustin Rhodes.
I know on the show they said it, but you didn't know that at the time.
Yeah, I did.
Well, on the being the elite, they
No.
can say whatever they want on that.
I said that's how they would build the match on Road to Double or Nothing.
Right. Which they can say whatever they want on that.
Okay.
I was convinced that they couldn't say Rhodes.
And I told you he has the copyright. He can use it.
I was wrong.
You bought it. Okay.
That's wrong. That's why I just named him Dustin Rhodes when I just said
Okay.
because I know I was
Alright.
wrong. All I was saying was that was what was presented to me was Cody versus Dustin. And I thought that was very odd. But then again, we've got two Vikings with only first names, so
We do? I haven't seen those guys in
No, we
over a
had
month,
two
so-
Vikings, but more on that later.
maybe we'll see how long this takes. So, yeah, you guys said everything that needed to be said about Cody's entrance. I thought that, to me, this was Cody's only misstep in terms of the publicity as well as like the interviews and stuff like that, was him not owning it, and him just being, no, it wasn't. It had his fucking logo on the back of it. All right, man. Like
Yeah.
you can't just own it. Just be like, yeah, we're showing that we're breaking down the fucking barriers. So one of those barriers is Triple H. So, well, I was sending a message to him. You know, just say that. Don't or don't do it. I'd rather that they wouldn't have done it. You know.
Yeah, because to me, what this said is that Triple H and WWE have full control of space and property inside of the AEW's head.
Yeah. Well, not to mention the fact too that like I thought that Vince was the enemy, not Triple H. I thought
No,
that,
and Cody, like I said on the show, has zero fucking reason to be upset with WWE.
right. Yeah, because as you said, he was granted his release, whereas a lot of other people haven't been. You know.
Right.
And
they released his wife so that she could move on with him.
And you know, they turned around. He wanted some time off in WWE. They gave him time off, which they typically don't do. You know, they wrote him off and then they brought him back and put him in a hot angle. You know, so
And when he was a free agent last year, they threw a bunch of money at him.
exactly.
Like I said on the blender, to me, this was placating to your audience. This was that. Oh, this is gonna be all hot on Twitter moment. You know what I mean? And people are gonna go crazy about this. I really don't think Cody fucking hates Triple H. I don't think he hates him at all. I think he just did this as a marketing ploy.
Probably.
But I feel like, I mean, if that's the case, if you're placating your audience, have someone else do it. You've got a couple other guys that could have been fine. I mean, you could have had Dustin do it because he's got some legit beef, even though hasn't done anything like that. You could have had Jericho do it, and we know Jericho would fucking love to do that shit.
I was gonna say Jericho probably would have ate that shit up.
Yeah.
But playing a heel,
Jericho's
maybe,
a heel,
it
yeah.
wouldn't work for his character, yeah. Well, whatever.
I mean, Cody's a tweener,
look,
so.
everybody used to talk to when Bischoff would call out Vince McMahon on Nitro. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, he just said Vince's name. Like, it creates something. You know, it creates a buzz.
Yeah.
It's almost like if someone were to say AEW on WWE Raw.
So, everybody keeps talking about the chair. Look at the weapon he used to do it with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's another thing too. It's like that's him. Like, you think of sledgehammer in wrestling, you think of Triple H,
Right.
and just that's one thing that everybody keeps forgetting to discuss in this, is saying it's not a cheap shot. Oh, it's a shot at them.
Yeah.
It's like, use this weapon. That was his symbol. That was like, I just saw a clip on the.
Was
I
100%
literally
Stephanie and Triple
just
H.
saw a clip on the network of Triple H sitting in that chair. That is the exact chair.
Yeah. The only thing that would have made it worse is if he crouch chopped it. I mean,
I'm surprised he didn't.
I know, right?
Actually, probably at that point you're gonna go that far.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't.
But like I said,
But just fucking own it.
yeah, just own it. Why pussyfoot around it? Because that makes you look a little bad. Whereas it's like you're not gonna own the fact that you fucking took a shot at him. Like, you're the little company that could. And honestly, like I said, if you're in a position like AEW is, I don't think you need to do that kind of shit.
No, absolutely not.
I think you let WWE be that petty
No.
and do those kinds of things.
No, that's not true, because that's when you're number two, you need to establish yourself as on par with number one. Where number one then went at them a little bit on Monday. That was the surprising part, because that's been Vince's rally. He didn't want to mention WCW until they were way ahead of him in the ratings.
I was gonna say,
But no,
look,
if you're the number two company, you absolutely take your shots and establish yourself as being on par with number one.
Yeah, but WWE didn't even go at him. They said
no,
they
which
said
was
the
weird.
name.
They just
That
like
was
said
all.
the words.
Yeah,
But
they just
why
said the
would you say them
words.
in your TV though? I
Right.
don't get that. But
So.
no, yeah, to what Jason just said. That's why I brought up Bischoff and WCW, because that was their shtick when the NWO was running hot. Let's bring up the WWF. But you know what? It got a lot of buzz. It worked.
Yeah, but then it backfired on WCW hard.
Oh, well, eventually, yes.
Well,
it
it's
did.
because they kept doing it when they were number one
right.
too.
Right,
And
right.
there needs to be that turning point eventually of like, yeah, now you don't need to do it. And, kudos to WWE, they really never did much of that, They had a little bit of it when they, with DX, when they started doing this stuff, but it was specifically just like DX that were doing it, And Triple H, they asked him about, the shots of that, and he has said, yeah, it's expected of DX to do shit like that, to mention it, the pissant little company line and stuff like that. So, But in terms of other things, like Triple H is saying the right stuff, where he's just like, I'm just focused on making Takeover great, you know. So yeah, so
Vince won't let me make the main product.
exactly.
Roster.
Yep. So yeah, Cody, like, you could have done a lot, but you could have fucking grabbed a mallet and squashed some grapefruits. All right, because people would have understood that. That's all I'm saying.
Kind of funny.
Go after the purple person that deserves to have good, you know, to have.
Yeah.
But again, Triple H saw that. Vince McMahon would not have seen that. So
True.
But the match itself, you guys said a lot about.
Didn't see it.
You didn't see it. Now, see, I would
No,
have.
I haven't seen it yet.
Would have been interesting opinion on it.
I only saw technically 4 matches on this card.
Have you seen any of the remaining matches that we're going to talk about?
Yes, I saw the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros.
Even though he hates the box, he saw the box.
Fair enough. So
For a specific
we'll get
reason.
there. We'll get there. We'll get
Yeah.
there.
So I'm a little bit of two minds in terms of the blood.
Okay.
I'm not.
I think I said that myself on the blender.
Yeah.
While I do think that it can add a storyline, to me, Hardway is always going to tell a better story than a guy blading. And I don't... It's 2019, I would rather not see guys blade anymore.
Yeah, but I don't think it's safe for a guy to do a hard way either. If he's gonna bleed, at
Well,
least
no, what I'm saying
bleeding.
is, like, I'm not saying purposely Hardway. I'm saying that, like, if it happens, it winds up improving the match. But this here, where you've got Dustin gashing his fucking forehead open, like...
So yeah, but what's worse, that where he controls it himself and he can do it?
Did he control that? That was almost Eddie Guerrero
that's what he
levels of
wanted.
bleeding.
I don't know about that one.
Or he was walking around fine after the show.
Yeah, he actually put a picture up on Twitter like, I'm fine, I'm good.
But again, and Ginger, you know this. You take the aspirin, you thin out the blood. It looks a lot worse than it actually is.
Yes, but from the pictures that I saw, that fucking ring was covered and his face and body was covered, along with Cody's body was covered.
Like I said, I don't like the practice of blading.
But to me, I would rather do that where the guy has control of his own situation than a spot like Brock Lesnar did with Randy Orton, where he just elbows him to Hardway.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, to me, this is the better of the two options.
Yeah, I mean, but it's sort of a lesser of two evils kind of argument, you know?
Yeah.
Where it's like, I'd rather neither happens.
But
just because of the fact that I'd rather the storyline happen in the ring than, you know, just to get an image of a guy fucking bleeding.
Sure. But it's undeniable, unfucking deniable that the blood added a big element of emotion to this match.
As a person that didn't see this match, I want to see the match because of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I understand.
It added a ton to the match because it made Dustin a far more sympathetic character. It gave Cody a little bit to seem like the maniacal asshole. It created a lot of drama around all the false finishes because you got to a point where it was like, we got to get Dustin out of there. Like, let's end this match. So I think it actually did add a lot to the match as a sort of a scenery to the match.
But as we had said, it was kind of uncomfortable at different points when it was, kind of not dripping, like just falling out of his head. Like,
yeah, and the closest I can remember is the Stone Cold Bret Hart match.
Yeah. I was thinking Eddie, just like Ginger said, Eddie with JBL that night that he gigged too hard and it was all over the place.
Yeah. Is that Great American Bash?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But, didn't Dustin win this one?
Yes. No,
Cody won.
Cody won
with the Crossroads, the fifth Crossroads.
It's right on the sheet. It took me a second. I was like, did
I fuck up?
Did I fuck up? No.
No, because I did the results, so you didn't fuck up at all.
Yeah. So
did Jason fuck up?
Cody winds up going over, but to be expected. This was sort of Cody saying that he was putting an end to the Attitude Era, starting a new era. The only way he could do that was by taking out one of the last remaining guys who's still active from there. And then obviously telling the story later where setting up the next match where now, all right, I've defeated you, now I need you. So
Right.
now Cody and Dustin teaming up, the return of the Dustbusters.
And that fucking moment at the end of the match was fantastic.
Oh,
And
it
that's
absolutely was.
that sort of speaks to the storytelling that this company wants to do. That they're taking you on that emotional journey with the performers, which is something we don't get anymore.
But that's the wrestling I love, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why NXT works so good, because
Exactly.
they do that at different points.
Yep.
With like Johnny and Tommaso Ciampa.
Yep.
Right? So
Well, not to mention too, after the fact, Dustin Rhodes, a guy who's been wrestling for over a decade,
decade.
had people 20 years, sorry. People turned around and were saying that like his match stole the show, and it made him fucking cry. This is a guy who most of his career has been told he's not as good as everyone else, or he's
Right.
good, and at 46, something like that he is now, for him to be able to go out there and put on a show-stealing match like that, and it to be on his merit as well, not just Cody carried you through it over that, but also he did his part on it too, is awesome.
Right.
And it really feels like for him, this was the moment he needed to kind of close the book on his career. If he's done in a little bit here, I think now he can kind of retire happy, because he's done what he wanted to do. He had a successful career. He got to have a fucking show-stealing match in his brother's company, and obviously I think he does still have more left in the tank. Obviously, he's booked for some more matches, but we'll see. I was very pleased, honestly, because this was a match that I wasn't 100% sure on, just because I wasn't sure, on if Dustin could still go as he could, and he proved he could, so... we followed that up, though, with our belt reveal with Bret Hart.
Shocking that Bret Hart came out.
So
No advertisement. That was a
Yeah.
shocking moment.
He's the guy that just inducted second time in the Hall of Fame like a month ago.
Yeah. So the word going around was that this was originally Ric Flair that was supposed to do this, but because of Ric Flair and going into the hospital having some medical issues, it wound up being that he wasn't able to go. So I guess Plan B was Bret Hart, if what people are saying is to be believed. Either one, obviously, is a huge fucking get for them, considering Flair's daughter is in the WWE, and obviously Bret Hart's niece-ish, whatever the fuck.
It's his niece.
All right.
It's his niece. It's his sister's daughter.
But also, like you said, the fact that Bret was just inducted into the Hall of Fame obviously is still an ambassador for WWE, but is able to go ahead and do these kind of bookings. So let's just get out of the way. Bret Hart was terrible, and boy, like, I get that they don't know like exactly when it's going to be defended, but like you got to give him something better than the belt is going to be on a line maybe this month, maybe next month.
Oh my god!
Like, you gotta
Oh, it
give him
was
a
bad.
little
If you go
something.
back and watch that, you'll laugh. But
That's rough.
Yeah. And then afterwards, he wound up falling. So fell right off the fucking stage. So thanks, Bret Hart. Thanks for coming.
which I didn't know until you posted that. So thank you for posting that.
Oh man, poor fucking guy.
But can we take a second to talk about the just absolute excellent heel work by MJF in this segment?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. So again, it's a guy.
MJF, for the record, what EC3 should have been when he came back up.
Another guy given an opportunity to show off his character and just hitting it out of the fucking park. He did a great job. Adam Page has always been really good. He's gotten even better. I know what you guys are saying about the selling. I had a little issue with it as well. Like, you could barely fucking make it to the match. You then had no problem in the match, and then you're out here again limping. Like,
And doing a buckshot lariat.
yeah, then do another fucking move. It's just like, dude, make up your mind. Are you hurt or are you not? Because it seems like you're only hurt when you're.
You go back to that match with Pac.
But hold on, that's not exclusive. We said the same fucking thing about Seth for a year.
Yeah.
When-
Oh,
He is
he's
the
still the
fucking
same
worst.
fucking thing about Seth. Did you watch the main event of Raw?
yeah, so same fucking thing. It's not exclusive to AEW or Hangman Page by any stretch.
It is not exclusive to anything, because that is the main issue plaguing a lot of people is them just sort of forgetting that they're supposed to be injured.
Yeah.
There are very few people that are really fucking good at it.
Yeah.
We talked about shit. Was it who was it in NXT that we were just talking about? I just fucking
EC3?
No, he's not in NXT. He had the match where he had the hurt knee and did moves like one-legged and shit like that. Who was that, Jason?
Oh, was that
Was it Riddle or was it?
It was Riddle, and I thought you guys said that. I thought Jason used was, or maybe it was Troy. You said that. Riddle's still selling. Like made you more of a fan of his.
Yeah.
But I think there was also another match. I know Ricochet's been pretty good about it, where he
Becky Lynch is fantastic.
Yeah.
And
Ricochet.
I always go back to the match Becky Lynch had with Sasha Banks at TakeOver after Sasha had won the women's title.
Oh my god!
Because Becky hurt her arm in the match, and even at the end of the match, as everybody Sasha's already gone, the crowd's just giving her like the standing empty ring round of applause, and Becky sells that arm all the fucking way to the back.
Yeah. Yep. That's the match that made me a huge fan of hers.
Yeah.
Same here.
I mean, Owens does it too. He does a pretty good job. He's had times before, like he had that really bad fucking match, and then he had to come out in the Rumble, and he was limping the entire time down to the ring.
Sammy used to do it. Sammy, when he was a underdog babyface, used to do it all the time.
Yeah,
he'd sell the whole fucking match.
Yeah, but we go.
Actually, who was really good at it too was Ty Dillinger when he was in NXT.
Yeah. We go from selling to a match that didn't have much of it as the Young Bucks defended the AAA World Tag Team Championship against the Lucha Bros. All of us. Well, this is the only thing is that
this is where Ginger's gonna go off.
Yeah, I see he's ready. I'm gonna give him his time. I just want to say, there are going to be some of those people who, when they first tune into AEW, are going to be in for a little bit of culture shock with the selling on display and some of the things, because it is different. And the same sort of thing happened to WBF fans when they went from their old product to the Attitude Era product. They lost a lot of their fans. They gained a bunch of new fans, though, and a bunch of younger fans. And the younger fans are sort of the more important ones in terms of eyes of, advertisers and stuff like that. Whereas WCW kind of had the opposite, where, they wound up getting some of those more old school fans who had a certain way on things, didn't like the Attitude Era, but then losing a lot of the young fans because they're like, well, they're not doing it as good. So AEW has that independent style, of working, where it's a lot more of the athletic kind of styles. It's a little bit less selling on a lot of the things. And so I think for some people that's going to be turned out, but for the majority of the younger crowd, I think that's going to be a big plus. They like those things a lot more. It's why, AEW is as popular as it is. So two guys that have been sort of accused of being in the forefront of that no selling thing has been the Young Bucks. Mm-hmm. Now, this match, I thought they did a much better job, and I think that they have sort of changed their game a little bit than what there was before. Where, the Young Bucks before was just like 37,000 super kicks, and then let's see how many fucking flips we can do in the air to our opponents like that. Whereas this was there's a lot more technical work on display, and obviously when you've got guys like Penta and Phoenix, those fucking guys are fantastic workers too. So I thought that this match was probably one of the more entertaining Young Bucks matches that I've watched, just because I'm also not a huge fan of that no selling a lot of things. Obviously people know my hatred for Zack Sabre Jr. and his inability to sell anything fucking consistently, but I thought that this match here, you guys talked about it, Penta breaking a guy's arm, which I agree is a dumb fucking move. They were selling that. He continued to walk around, and do moves one arm handed and stuff like that. Whereas I think 5 years ago with the Young Bucks, they would have fucking done a suplex the next fucking thing with both hands and stuff like that. So I think that they have gotten better as workers and kind of moved a little bit more away from it, but still retaining a lot of that energy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my tablet down, give my hand a rest.
No, keep it up.
And I'm going to let Ginger tell us what he thought about the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros.
Okay, so do you want me to go full spiel? Because we're already running pretty late.
Yeah, no, go.
We can go ahead and cut the entire Perfect 10 out. I'm fine with it. Just go.
Okay,
it's
good.
episode 400, man, go.
Selling is fucking dead when it comes to that match.
Disagree.
How many fucking super kicks got hit on every person? How many drivers were given to each person? How many flips were done to each person? And the only selling that happened was powders. Sell your fucking neck. Sell your fucking head. Sell your goddamn face.
Sell your kids.
Not sell your fucking kids. I don't give a shit. Sell. You can
Hide
sell
your
your
kids, hide your wives.
You can sell your asshole to the fucking bum down the street. I don't give a shit. Sell your fucking ass off. With how many things happened in this match, and I said this, me and Greeny were already going back and forth on this. It was entertaining. Yes, it was. But for looking more in depth, I like selling. They didn't fucking sell enough.
Okay. Can I...
No, you shh. Okay. It's so frustrating to... If you look back... even WCW, ECW days, they fucking at least sold. This match, oh my god, I wanted to rip my eyeballs out. I literally sat there watching it in disgust about 10 to 15 minutes in, where the guy gets, there was a certain driver, and out of the billions of... no, Melted Driver doesn't happen until the end. And you knew that was the finish. But there was a driver that happened. The guy kicks out at 2. He doesn't sell his neck. He doesn't sell his back.
He just gets up. Or his crack.
Thank you for that. But it's I understand people like this style. Okay, I have no problem that you like that. This is my opinion on it. But it's so frustrating to see that wrestling is heading in the direction of that. Greeny?
Okay, so here's where I have an issue with almost all of that.
Of course.
No, because here's
I know. I'm fucking with you.
Here's the problem with that entire argument. You didn't watch the rest of the fucking show. So everything that you just said you wanted existed in Cody versus Dustin.
Which is fine.
And hold on. I let you finish. Let me finish.
Yep, sorry.
The point of what made this show good was that it didn't matter what type of wrestling you liked. You got it. Did you like great women's wrestling? Well, you got great women's wrestling in this match. Did you want surprises? Well, we got you surprises. Did you like fast-paced lucha-style action? Because that's what it is. This style is not new. This has been lucha style for decades in Mexico. This is what they do. We put that on the show. Do you like emotional selling and hard in-ring action? We give you that with Cody versus Dustin. They gave you everything you wanted. You skipped all the stuff you like, and you're picking and choosing the one thing you didn't like out of one match and presenting that as though it's the entirety of what happened, and that's not the case. You talked about WCW. The cruiserweight shit on WCW had very little selling. It's the lucha fucking style. But they had selling in other parts of the show. We as fans of wrestling have to get past this notion that every match has to be all things to all people. It doesn't. The beauty of the art form that wrestling is right now is that whatever you fucking like, there's something out there for you. You can find it. And that to me was the overriding beauty of this show, was that whatever you wanted, it was on this fucking show. And you got it. And you got exactly what you wanted, Ginger. but you chose not to watch it. You chose to watch the thing you don't fucking like, and then got angry that that's what you watched. I don't know what to tell you in that scenario.
I understand, but I had no problem with all the other matches. I saw 4 altogether, okay, which I understand. But all the other matches, from what I saw, had selling. That's my biggest point.
Fucking selling, dude.
How many drivers can you hit though?
It's a different style, but when they did the arm spot, he altered his fucking finish to continue selling the arm as part of the finish.
15 to 16 minutes into the match.
And you talk about, well, they did powders, but when they did powders, they were selling while they were on the fucking floor.
They were laying there dead.
That's fucking selling.
No, I'm talking about when you get up, or if you're walking towards somebody to pick them up, sell your fucking head. Like, grab your head. Just even grab it.
Match. It's a lucha match. It's fast-paced. You have to be moving all the fucking time to get to the next spot. That is that style of wrestling. Now, if you don't like that style of wrestling, totally fucking get it. I'm there for it. I was, and you can ask the other 2 guys on this show, I was as fucking critical 2 years ago of the Young Bucks as you are right now for the very same fucking thing. I have watched the evolution of this team to the point where they now do sell, they do tell stories in the ring, and they do get other people's shit over. They are a drastically different team in that regard than they were 2-3 years ago. But to criticize the one match on the card that was like that because it was for a Lucha Libre title, they contested the match in a Lucha Libre fashion because guess what? That's who that match was for.
So maybe that's my issue with not seeing how they were before.
Sorry, you missed Troy's joke.
I didn't catch that, but no, maybe that's my issue. I haven't seen them before when they absolutely didn't sell compared to this one.
Go back, watch some of their shit from PWG a couple years ago. And it wasn't just them. It was Owens and Zayn and all those guys who you like who were in there with them. Same fucking thing. That's just how that indie style was in certain areas of the country. But to villainize them as though they're some fucking awful, pariahs of the wrestling industry, they wrestled the type of match that the championship they were fighting for dictated, that the team they were working against dictated, and that the audience that was there for that match dictated. They gave that paying audience that came to see them what they wanted from that match. And again, if you disliked that part, what they did was stack a show with all sorts of different other stuff that wasn't that.
Which I get.
So,
It's just that's the one thing that I'm picking out of it.
No, but I think to be fair to the entirety of the broadcast, you have to look at the entire picture rather than just cherry picking the parts you didn't like and then watching those so you can be super critical of those. Do you know what I'm saying?
What am I known as at APW? The negative bitch, right?
Asshole.
But like I said, maybe I just have to go back and watch what they were like before. But like I said, if you're walking towards somebody, at least grab your head. Dude, I understand you have to constantly be moving, but throw a little bit of a sell in there.
They do some of that. A little bit. They do some of that. And if you watch it without sort of the
negative intention,
preconditioned, I already hate these guys, you might catch more of it. That's all I'm saying.
This has been The Art of Selling with Ginger.
Fuckers.
All that aside, Young Bucks wound up going over to the surprise of all of us because we figured that they were going to be done in AAA and that the Lucha Bros are going to be taking those titles back to Mexico so that the Bucks could kind of focus on AEW's tag division. But instead, Bucks still have those championships. So
they do have a rematch lined up in Mexico. So with that knowledge now in retrospect,
most likely they're going to drop them there. Yep.
Right.
So it makes sense. At least in that aspect. And it wound up being kind of an unpredictable finish then, because I think a lot of people went into it going like, well, we know what's going to happen here. And they kind of threw a swerve. So,
we mentioned on the Blender, the only thing was they spent on the beating the Elite Show, they spent weeks and weeks building up this new finisher, and they never fucking used it. Weird. It was very weird.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to our main event. Due to time constraints, we're going to go ahead and zap the perfect time here. But after we talk about the surprise person, then you guys can bring up the Talk is Jericho thing. So our main event, Kenny Schmegma took on Chris Jericho for the person who was going to face Adam Page at maybe this month, maybe next. This was obviously a little bit more of a slower match. Now, I understand why it went on last due to Jericho's involvement. I understand due to the stipulation on it went on last. This was not your main event. Cody and Dustin had the better story. Cody and Dustin had the better match. But obviously, it happens oftentimes like that where the main event winds up not being the best match on the show. Not saying the match was bad by any stretch of the imagination, but the match was what it was. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, we've seen that at WrestleMania where the best match or the most interesting match to the fans is in the main event.
Right,
Yep.
exactly. But what was the more interesting thing, and thankfully something happened, because if the last shot that you had was Jericho hitting a fucking elbow as a finisher, people were going to go home a little upset.
And again, he had put that over on the road to Double or Nothing as his new finish, so it wasn't like out of nowhere. They had sort of built up that move.
Yeah, it's just that the move sucks.
Yeah, like I said, it's a
shitty move,
Cedric Alexander setup move. Like,
I mean,
Okay, but again, this goes to the same sort of conversation I was having with Ginger that sparked the Young Bucks thing. In every sport, you can have two MMA fighters, and they both deliver the same kick.
yeah.
But one's trained to do it more. One's got stronger legs. There, two people doing the same thing is not the same result.
Oh
athletically.
no, and see, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with the fact that other people use it as sit-up moves. I mean, the sling blade is used by two different fucking people, and Jake Roberts' finisher is
No. But what I'm saying is,
no. My problem is that it's just kind of a nothing move. It's not impactful enough.
Sure, but there's moves that are far worse as finishers in wrestling too.
For sure. Just use the code breaker. I enjoyed the code breaker.
He's trying to
reinvent himself.
Yeah, that is to Jericho's credit. He's constantly trying to do new things.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Like,
I just
like
think...
he's trying a new finisher. He's trying not to diet. He's trying not to be in shape. It's all sorts of new stuff for him.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, you went on this spiel before about if you like this wrestling, if you like that wrestling, if you like fat ex-rockers in their 50s who still think they look good in leather pants, we got a match for you.
If you were a big fan of Greg the Hammer Valentine when he
okay, so for the record, we'll talk briefly about the Jon Moxley on Chris Jericho thing. The thing that stood out to me was that Jericho talked about how the last moment he knew he was done with WWE was at WrestleMania, where him and Kevin Owens weren't the main event of the show. Take the Jericho part out of it. That sparked me to go back and watch that match, just because I was curious to see what kind of shape Jericho was in for that match. He was in fucking phenomenal shape. He didn't have Kofi Kingston chest. He didn't have big beer gut. He was in great fucking shape for that match. And that was, 2 years ago? 2 years ago. Yeah. And he looks like the dad who's fucking given up on life. I mean, he looks awesome.
I'll give Troy credit. I think he looks like Greg the Hammer Valentine. I'm rolling with that now.
Which to me is sort of like, you mean, why? Like, you're not doing that much. You're not on the road to WWE, which is normally when guys have some issues because they don't have time to get to the ring. You're kind of on tour, but not to the extent where, he's not as busy as he once was. Like, there's really no reason. And plus, you're talking about how you want to be like this big fight, you want to be like the big impact player and stuff like that. Then do something about it, man. You keep hawking DDP yoga, fucking do it. You gotta actually do it.
If he's doing it, that's a horrible advertisement for the product.
If I'm DDP, I'm like, listen, bro, don't mention my shit no more. Seriously,
bro.
Chris the Hammer Bossy time.
Yeah. Look, man, I got Mick Foley to stop mentioning that he did it, because look at him. It's like, you need to do it too, all right? After the match, Jon Moxley arrived, beat the ever-loving piss out of Omega and Jericho, obviously leading to, I guess, an Omega feud. If I had
Oh, it
to
was
guess
at this
one-
point too that Jim Ross decided to hit all his classic hits in one
Oh, yeah.
screenshot. Hey, what the hell?
Yeah,
Ah, it's John Moxley.
but
Well, this was
but he's
this
a
was
stroke
also the
victim.
match where Excalibur decided to just shout out El Generico
Yeah.
repeatedly when he was talking about Chris Jericho.
I mean, at this point, he is kind of generic. So
Oh,
Generic fat white guy.
yeah. All right.
Create a wrestler number 4.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get my trivia set up here while you guys talk about Jericho.
Create a wrestler number 4, the chunky model.
Yeah.
Ginger, did you happen to see the end of that on Twitter or YouTube or anything yet?
Yeah, I saw ginormous fucking pop. I will give them all the credit in the world for that because they set that up pretty nice. Because I don't know if the crowd expected him to come out. They obviously expected somebody, but
Yeah, I mean there was obviously rumors, but
oh yeah, but nobody truly knew. But holy shit, when he got noticed and he obviously got shown on the screen, that place went fucking wild. Which, cool. Now, to Jason's point, that me and him had a little back and forth about a while back ago and a few episodes ago. Can he take advantage of it and continue to work and exceed what he needs to do?
well, before we even go there, I'll give credit to Jericho because he pins Omega and he completely heals it up when he gets on that mic.
Oh yeah.
I want to thank you. I want to thank you. It's that classic setup in wrestling where you know this guy's mouthing off and somebody's going to come out there to shut it.
It's been the lead up on the show too.
Yeah, absolutely. To Jason's point earlier, maybe lights go off, lights go on, and he's in the middle of the ring. It has more of an impact. But I get the whole walking through the crowd thing. I'm sure they got that from somewhere.
So, what they did in this segment, they positioned him as Stone Cold.
Yep.
Yeah.
He walked out through the crowd, his t-shirt, his jeans, whatever, came in, very Stone Cold-like, hits his finisher on the heel, then hits his finisher on the referee, then goes to hit his finisher on the face, then they brawl all over the place. Then it was fucking Stone Cold with John Moxley.
Yeah. Which
So
I'm good with.
that's how they position him. Now, my problem is they've set the bar for him exceedingly high now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think that
Now-
the biggest
now-
fight in this show is going to be me and you tonight.
Now, the problem is a guy who has consistently failed to live up to the bar set for him will now have the highest bar in the company. Good luck. We'll see. We'll find out.
So let's talk about that bar.
Well, no. Let's talk about that when we get through. Let's do trivia first, and then we'll get to that.
Oh,
part.
okay. All right, that's fine.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the bar.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So
love that new Cesaro music.
So, before we go that
Why does
overall
he still
thoughts.
wear the bar trunks though?
Yeah.
Who?
Cesaro.
He does still wear the bar trunk.
Well, he still does the bar symbol too. I think it's like a shout out to Sheamus, who's laid up. So.
Meanwhile, Sheamus is working out in those videos he posts on Twitter, and he looks like $1 million. So I don't think he's doing that bad.
I
I
mean,
don't think he's posted any of those in a while, though.
That was recent, but anyway.
I think
mean-
they're highlights from his Celtic workout series. I don't think they're.
Oh, okay.
right. I don't think that he can actually work a computer right now because he's legally brain dead. So
So overall thoughts of the show, except for Ginger, who didn't watch the whole show. Troy, you were sort of the biggest skeptic of AEW Double or Nothing coming out of this show. What were your impressions, and how were they different from when you went into it?
I'm curious what's going on with Ginger over there. He looks very distraught.
What is that brain dead comment about?
He's
Because he got a
he's got a
concussion.
concussion.
Oh, I had no idea.
He's also translucent, but
Yeah.
It's-
So, I enjoyed the show. I'm very interested to see where they go from here.
Yep.
did it exceed the expectations you had for it? Because you had low expectations for AEW coming into this, as you said on this show, and we had gone back and forth about that a few times. So now that you've seen some of the presentation, some of the products, some of the direction, some of the how the strategy, the plans, their approach to things. How does that change your viewpoint?
It's sort of difficult for me to make a comment on that off of one show. I don't, because I don't know if they're going to be able to deliver on certain things like consistent storytelling because they've had one show.
Right.
So hold on, because where I'll argue with you on that one is they do the consistent storytelling. They've been doing it on Being the Elite. And they've built 2 pay-per-views off a once-a-week 20-minute YouTube series.
Right, and that's why I can't make a comment on it because I don't watch it. I don't see that. Okay. So all I can do is just make a comment on what I saw on the show here. So
you watch the product, bro.
Well, and see, like I said, I mean, once October rolls around and they have have their weekly show, that's when I'll really be able to give my opinion on certain aspects of the company. Now, did I know that the matches were going to be good? Yeah, I fully expected the matches to be really good, and they delivered to that. The matches I thought were really entertaining. Even the matches where I didn't know anybody, I at least was entertained. There wasn't really.
Were there times where Jim Ross ruined it for you?
Well, I mean, I have my issues with Jim Ross. I don't know I'm not sure if he's going to be the full-time announcer on when they get to the show.
Probably. I'd imagine for the first year at least.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know Excalibur. I
thought Excalibur was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't know him, and I enjoyed him. So I don't know if he's going to be with the company moving forward.
Right.
Excalibur is Alex Marvez should not be.
Okay.
Yeah, but neither should Jerry Lawler. I mean, if I would personally not like Jim Ross to bring in Lawler if that is true, that rumor.
I don't see it happening.
I don't see it happening. 2, I'm with you. I don't want it to happen because AEW needs to have their own voice.
Right.
And if you just use the 2 voices from the Attitude Era, then
you're killing Cody's whole fucking point.
Yeah. So I would I'd rather honestly see a brand new announcer I've never seen before, to kind of grow with the company kind of thing. I don't know who that would be, obviously, but yeah.
I would love to see Excalibur and somebody and a color person, like
a color
commentator. Color commentator.
I hear Percy Watson is free these days.
Yeah. He'll continue to be free.
The one person that I was actually happened to see was Justin Roberts. Really good announcer.
Big ups to Justin Roberts.
Huge pop when I heard his voice.
Okay, so can I just say, I was happy for Justin. I was happy to see him. There were points where I was watching that where I said to myself, I see where the Vince influence helped him. Mm-hmm. Because there were definitely moments where he over-announced everything.
Yeah.
Like, the American Nightmare, Cody! Like, just too much.
Yeah, so
too much.
But that's how some ring announcers work.
But he didn't do that in WWE.
And they're bad at it.
So I imagine...
Did you not ever hear him announce John Cena's name?
He did.
John Cena!
Right, but he didn't do it for everybody and every word of the intro. It wasn't like, the United States Champion! John! Like, it wasn't that. That's what it was at Double or Nothing.
Way over the top. He just needs to lower it down a little bit.
To be fair, if you go and watch Impact, where I think Scott D'Amore is doing it from the back, it's awful. Like, it was fucking terrible. I watched it last week. It was tired. The Impact Knockouts Champion. Like,
just for the record, we're probably not going to get a toned down Justin Roberts since All Out is in Chicago and he's from Chicago.
No,
it's probably going to be worse.
To be fair, Cody has put over that he loves that style. So
he's doing what the boss wants then. So.
Exactly. That's what the boss wants to do. It was just, to me, it was sort of striking because it was more than I remember him doing in WWE.
Still not as egregious as Kevin. Oh!
All right, dude, we're enough, man. We're losing viewers on YouTube with you guys continuing to do this fucking announcing gimmick stuff. All right, so
One of us is actually a fucking announcer. I'm just saying.
yeah, but then you don't announce like that.
Maybe I should. Maybe fucking AEW.
There you go. Anyways, so yeah,
What was it I hear?
in terms of the show, I enjoyed it. Obviously, I'll watch the next one. It's slightly odd to me that like, the next show is like not really a show. The Fighter Fest is
It's Saudi Arabia.
yeah, that. So to me, it's a little bit like, well, okay, well, we got this big show, and now we're just gonna like take kind of a little bit of a hiatus, kind of thing. But I get it, But again, we'll see where it goes. I'm very interested to see where it goes. I'm very pleased with what the company has done behind the scenes and a lot of things. I think a lot of the rough spots will be polished, in very short amount of time. So unless anyone else has anything to say,
I think we're ready.
okay. So here's
Are you
no, dude. I told
ready?
you I'm gonna fucking lose viewers. I'm gonna lose viewers, man. Stop. Okay, so the way that I have this broken down is
No, I said no.
so I took
I got the trailer.
I took a look at some of WWE's lesser known championships.
Uh-oh.
And we're going to do some trivia on some mid card belts. So, there are 3 of you, and the first question, the way that we're going to do it is a list of people, and you're going to give me one of those names, and we're going to do 10 rounds, very quick succession here, naming off the very first one, your list of WWE European champions. So we're going to start off. You're going to give me one. If you're correct, you get a point. Move to the next person. If at the end of 10 rounds we still have more left, I'll give the rest of the answers, but then we'll get the score. And then we've got a couple of specific questions on it.
If we give an incorrect one, are we eliminated, or we just roll the next round?
No, we're just going to roll to the next round, but you obviously miss an opportunity for a point there.
Okay.
So, the order that we're going to go into, a random draw of dick size backstage says Ginger is first, Sal is second, and our biggest and reigning champion, Jason, is third. Okay? Fair?
All right. Sure.
There.
All right. So, WWE European champions. Ginger.
D'Lo Brown.
Sal.
Christian.
Jason.
Shane McMahon.
Ginger.
Kurt Angle.
It's not going to get any easier the longer we go on. Sal.
Holy shit. X-Pac.
Jason.
Shawn Michaels.
Ginger.
Owen Hart.
Sal.
British Bulldog.
That was the easy one. I was surprised it took that long to go. Jason.
Triple H.
Ginger.
Val Venus.
Sal.
Eddie Guerrero.
You're starting to worry me, Sal. Jason.
Shit. Fuck.
3,
Hold on.
2, 1.
I'll say Jericho.
William Regal.
All right.
Test.
Oh, good one. Jason.
Benoit.
No, not once.
All right.
Ginger. There are 3 that I think are really easy that you guys are missing.
Rob Van Dam?
Correct. Sal.
Val Venus.
Sorry,
I already said him.
taken.
Okay. Do I get another choice? Do I get another pick?
Yeah, that would be too mean. Go ahead.
All right. Albert.
No, incorrect.
Damn it.
Jason.
Jeff Hardy?
Correct.
Oof.
Ginger.
Shit. Fuck.
Oh, I think I know one.
Perry Saturn?
Correct.
Yes.
Sal.
Booker T.
Incorrect. Jason.
Santino Marella?
Incorrect.
Ah, fuck.
Ginger.
Who was in that? Fuck.
There are 9 guys.
Rene Dupree.
Incorrect.
Fuck.
Sal.
Midian.
Correct.
Yes.
Jason.
Naked Midian. No,
That's good. Yeah, that's funny.
I don't know, fucking JBL.
Incorrect. Oh no, correct. Bradshaw.
There you go.
That counts. Ginger.
Rob Conway?
Incorrect. Sal.
Fuck.
The Godfather.
Incorrect.
Damn
Jason.
Jeff Jarrett?
Correct.
Wow.
Ginger. Last round.
Al Snow?
Correct.
Nice.
Sal.
Totally took mine. Gangrel.
Incorrect. Jason.
Oh, wow.
So this will be my last guess.
Yep.
I don't know why, but for some reason I want to say Gold Dust.
Incorrect.
Okay.
So at the end of that first question, Ginger in the lead with 8, Jason 7, Sal 6. The remaining people you guys missed: Matt Hardy,
I almost said him, but I wasn't
I didn't even
sure.
remember him winning that belt.
the Hurricane,
Yeah.
Spike Dudley,
Yeah.
Mark Henry, Crash Holly, and Diamond Dallas Page.
I totally forgot Diamond Dallas Page.
Yeah, me too.
That was way towards the later,
Yeah.
right before they got rid of it.
Correct.
I feel like we did better than I expected, though. So.
Right.
Very good. Very good.
I was glad that you said the European. I was like, yes.
Nice. All right. So then I have a question for each of you, starting with Ginger. Who held the European Championship for the longest reign?
It's between 2 people.
Like longest consecutive or longest?
Yeah, I was gonna-
Longest one. One
One single.
One single.
Okay.
One, yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Shawn Michaels.
Incorrect. British Bulldog.
That was my second guess.
Sal.
Was that the first reign?
That was actually the first reign.
Uh,
First one was the
Fucking
longest.
bastard.
Sal. 2
anyone remember who he beat for that title?
No. I looked it up and I don't remember what.
I think it was Owen, wasn't
It
it?
was Owen. It was
It
a
was Owen,
fantastic
yep.
match. Go back and watch it. It is tremendous.
Sal, 2 people have held the European Championship a record 4 times. Name them.
D'Lo Brown.
That's correct. Who's the other?
Mark Henry.
Incorrect. William
Can I
Regal.
guess? Can I? Oh, all right. never mind.
Regal. All right.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
X-Pac, but
Jason.
Oh, that would have made sense too.
Jason. Only
yes.
6 people have held the European Championship more than once. So we have D'Lo and Regal. Who are the other 4 that have been multi-time?
I have to come up with 4 fucking names. Are you shitting me?
You are the champion of this. The other 2 have not done anything correct. So.
Well, I know X-Pac is one.
Yep.
Eddie.
Correct. 2 more.
I think 2 is the most anyone else has had to name. I feel like that should be it. I should get points for that.
I will contest that. I will give you a point for that. Ginger, do you know one of the other 2?
Triple H.
Correct.
I didn't abdicate my turn. Shit.
Well, I'm not giving.
Well, no, I'll take another question. That's fine.
No, I'm not giving him a point. I'm just having some fun. You answered the question correct. Sal, do you have?
And I think the other person was Owen Hart, correct?
Incorrect. Sal,
Owen lost the first round and then won it later.
Sal, do you happen to know the last person that held the belt twice?
Was it Shane?
Was it Bulldog?
It was Bulldog.
Yeah, Bulldog won it back. That's right.
All right. So now we're gonna do just 7 rounds on this one because there's a couple. There's less of them. We are going to do the WWE Divas Championship.
Yeah, you fucker.
That's alright. That's alright. That's alright. Better than the light heavyweight. I thought he was gonna go with that one next.
I had thought about it, but that lineage is way too much. So, again, Ginger, Sal, Jason. Start us off, Ginger. Divas Champion.
AJ Lee.
Sal.
Maris.
Jason.
Charlotte.
Ginger. That's a good one.
Paige.
Sal.
Eve Torres.
Jason.
Nikki Bella.
Ginger.
Brie Bella.
It's kind of a gimme. Sal.
Kelly Kelly.
Against all odds. Jason.
Caitlin.
Yep. Ginger.
I can't remember if she was Ashley Massaro?
Incorrect.
Fuck.
I don't believe Ashley ever actually won a title in
Okay.
Sal.
Alicia Fox.
Oh, that's what I was
Oh, you fucker.
Jason.
Melina.
Ginger.
Oh, you fuck.
Six names left.
Jesus.
Jason's got his next one locked and loaded.
I did, and then Ginger's noises made me lose it.
Good.
Tori Wilson.
Incorrect. Sal.
Natalia.
Correct. Jason.
Candice Michelle.
Incorrect.
Sure. No, she fucking had it.
Candice Michelle was a women's champion.
Women's.
She was the women's champion. Sorry, buddy. Ginger.
Beth Phoenix.
Correct. Sal.
Oh, I fuck.
It's hard to think of that era.
No, I
Hold on.
Oh, fuck, what was it?
Shut the fuck up!
don't fucking Google it and give him a time limit. I got a fucking time limit on one of mine. Jesus Christ! Come on.
No, don't make noise. Do it in your head while he's.
I don't want to get content ID'd, so we would lose all of that sweet $0. Sal, I need an answer.
Karma.
Incorrect. Karma never won a championship. She had like 3 matches.
Michelle McCool, motherfuckers.
Michelle McCool is correct, motherfucker. Ginger.
Layla.
I knew as soon as I said Michelle, someone was going to grab that.
Oh no, I had Layla before you even said it.
Sal.
Maria?
Incorrect. Never won a championship. Mark. I only said Mark because your name's on there. Jason.
Hold on. Did anybody say Beth Phoenix?
Yes.
I did.
Okay. I have two totally randoms, but I don't know if either one of them is actually correct.
Okay. Give us a random. You do have one more opportunity after this. Although we have two names left. Are you playing with your titties?
Some reason
Itchy chest.
Yeah. Shout your answer out.
God. I don't think I'm right. I for some reason I think this, but I don't think it's right. Vicky Guerrero.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Last round. Ginger.
Gail Kim?
Incorrect.
Oh.
Women's champion. Sal.
I think I'm wrong, but Stephanie McMahon.
Incorrect. Women's champion.
So,
Jason. Last chance. Two names left.
there's only two total left? Shit.
Two total left. You guys did good this round. One of them is fairly obvious.
Fairly obvious.
No hands.
I'm gonna be pissed at myself. So I'm gonna back. All right. I'll just say Santina Morella.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Ginger and Jason are tied with 13. Sal with 11. The last two people, Jillian Hall
Really?
I remember that.
No, I don't remember that at all.
and Mickey James.
Oh,
Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
I told you it was fairly obvious.
Kick me in the dickhead.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Ginger. Who was the first Divas champion?
Oh. Wow. I'm gonna say Mickey James.
Incorrect.
I know the match, and I don't remember who won it, but it was, I believe... Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead. You're not going to get any points for it, but go ahead.
Was it Michelle McCool?
It was Michelle McCool.
Fucker, that was my.
It was her match against Natalia, because Natalia had the red hair at the time still.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sal, 50-50 shot. Which brand did the WWE Divas Championship originally belong to?
The WWE Divas Championship?
Uh-huh.
SmackDown.
That is correct. It eventually became the Raw Championship and retained...
I gotta name 6 fucking people, and he gets a 50-50 pick.
Jason.
God damn it.
Jason. Just
You need 4.
just a number. That's all I need from you. How many women have held both the Divas and Women's Championships?
Ooh.
Not at the same time. You do not have to name
Do-
them.
Do we count the current incarnation of the women's title as...
No, this is the
Okay.
original Women's Championship.
Okay. That's a good question.
That's why I wrote it down.
Okay, so I know Mickey James has had both.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So we just ran through all the Divas champions.
Yep.
Yep.
Trying to think if any of the other ones have been women's champion.
It would have been really mean if I put this question before that.
Yeah. No. Fuck. Don't think Michelle McCool ever held the women's title.
You're wrong.
Okay. Oh, never mind. All right, then forget it.
Give me an answer.
I don't know. 4.
Oh, you're so close. 5.
Ah,
5.
Mickey James, Michelle McCool, Layla, Beth Phoenix, and Melina.
Oh yeah.
should get half a point for that.
All right. This one going to be a little more difficult because there were so many of them that I had to do guys with more than one reign as the WWE Cruiserweight Champion. Not the current championship belt. The one that was originally the WCW Cruiserweight Championship that became the WWE Championship.
So we're counting the WCW time too?
Correct.
Okay.
Jesus.
That's why it's more difficult, guys. You guys are going to get 6 rounds at this. So let's
Alright,
start.
do I go first this time?
No, it's continue to be Ginger first.
Alright.
You can get upset as all you want. You're tied for the leads.
I'm not upset.
I was just gonna say.
Thinking. No, I just turned my head to think.
All right, Ginger, start us off.
So, hold on. Just to clarify.
More than
So,
one championship.
more than one reign as the WCW/WWF.
Correct.
Okay.
They could have more than one reign as WCW champion. They could have a WCW and WWE championship reign.
Okay.
Just more than one.
Okay.
Okay.
And Rey Mysterio.
That is the easiest one. Correct. Sal.
Dean Malenko.
Yes. Jason.
Billy Kidman.
You fucker.
Correct. Ginger.
Chris Jericho.
Correct. Sal.
Juventud Guerrera.
Correct. Jason.
Jamie Noble.
Incorrect. Only one.
Wow.
I'm going off of Wikipedia, man. Ginger.
Eddie Guerrero.
Correct. Sal.
I don't know what incarnation of him, but Hurricane Helms.
Fuck you, dick!
That is correct. Jason.
Chavo.
Correct. That one I thought was going to be a little bit difficult.
Fucking bastard.
Ginger.
Uh,
It's going to get harder.
I'm going out on a limb. La Parca?
Incorrect. I don't know if he ever actually...
Was he ever a champion?
I'm not. I think so. Not 100% sure, but he might have had at least one reign. Or only one reign. So,
Let's take a shot. Prince Iakea.
that is correct.
Nice.
Jason.
I had one in my head and then I just completely lost it when he said Prince Iakea.
Was it
Say
Yokozuna?
Jack Gallagher.
Ultimo Dragon.
Correct.
Damn it! Son of a bitch!
Ginger.
Chris Benoit.
Incorrect.
Fuck.
Sal.
6.
Correct.
Wow.
Well done. Good pull.
Jason.
Oh, this was the one I was thinking last time. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm guessing. I'm pulling this one out of my ass. Evan Courageous.
Incorrect.
Okay.
All right, last round. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 more people left. Ginger, go ahead.
Shannon Moore.
Incorrect.
Fuck that.
It's not that they haven't won the championship. They've won it.
But it's fucking.
I'm gonna take a shot here. I'm gonna say Matt Hardy.
Incorrect.
Damn it!
Oh.
One-time champion.
That's good. That was a good guess though.
Jason, last chance.
Jimmy Wang Yang.
Incorrect.
Oh,
good
thank
pull,
God, because
though.
I had that in my head and I didn't take it. I would have been pissed.
That was a fantastic round for Sal as he's now taken the lead.
Oh.
17, Ginger and Jason with 16. The remaining people, Tajiri,
Okay, yeah.
Psychosis,
Oh, motherfucker.
He's been around since Ray.
Nunzio,
Really? I thought it would have been like a one-time deal. All right.
And Brian Pillman.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Brian Pillman.
He won the light heavyweight. I didn't
I
know
was
he
gonna
won
say
the
that's the
cruiserweight.
light heavyweight.
That was when
He
the
won the
title was
Cruiserweight.
first introduced, I believe.
He won the Cruiserweight Championship twice in the first couple of years that it was around.
Oh, like 95-ish. Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow.
Alright.
Oh, he was doing Hollywood Blondes by then.
I'm just going off what
Yeah, but Austin got fired, so what they have left
Via
for him
FedEx.
before he left.
You can go ahead and check
Yeah.
check my work, but I checked it in.
Alright.
Alright. We have 6 people. We were just doing 2 rounds on this. Wrestlers who have won the Cruiserweight Championship in both WCW and WWE. So that list we just had and everything like that. It's not the current Cruiserweight. It's guys that won it in WWE and in WCW originally. So they had more than one reign, obviously, so it's all guys that were in that last one. Do we understand?
I should have been paying attention in the last one. Huh?
Alright. Ginger.
Hurricane Helms.
Fuck, that was the only one I remembered.
Correct. He was Sugar Shane Helms and then the Hurricane.
Yeah, Sugar Shane.
Sal.
Dean Malenko.
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Did Dean Malenko ever wrestle? Oh, yes, he did. Yep. Jason.
He wrestled for WWE. He had the whole
Rey
41
Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio is correct. We are all tied up. All 3 of you. Ginger. You got 4 guys.
Chavo Guerrero.
Chavo Guerrero, correct.
You son of a
He
bitch.
was- what the fuck was his name? Sergeant something?
Lash LaRue.
No. What was Chavo went by a different name. In
Kerwin White.
Kerwin White.
That was WWE still. No, he won the championship under a different name in WCW other than Chavo Guerrero.
Sequel
I don't remember what his name was now.
I don't remember that.
Neither.
Alright, so.
Psychosis?
Incorrect.
Damn it.
Jason.
Juventude?
Correct.
I was gonna fucking say that.
That puts Jason and Ginger back in the lead. Sal one behind. The other 2 people. Sal, you even did a good job. X-Pac, man. You said 6.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
The other one is Billy Kidman.
Oh, I was going to say
right,
Ultimate
yeah.
Dragon.
Nah, Ultimate Dragon never really had a title run in WWE.
I thought he.
Well, he had a run. I figured they just threw the fucking light heavyweight strap on him right away.
Ginger.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the final WCW Cruiserweight Champion?
Oh, you fucking asshole.
Why am I an asshole?
I'm gonna.
Wait, are we talking about the last
Like
episode
when-
of WCW? Or after post-invasion?
I'm talking about the last person to have the WCW Cruiserweight Championship before losing it to somebody else.
That would be Sugar Shane Helms.
That is correct. So, who is the first WWE Cruiserweight Champion? AKA, who did Sugar Shane Helms lose it to?
He lost it to Billy Kidman.
Correct.
Mhm. Yep,
Jason,
that was good.
who was the only female Cruiserweight Champion? Oh.
Medusa.
Incorrect. Jacqueline.
Oh,
I had the 2 of them. No, Medusa held it because her and Evan Courageous feuded over it in WCW.
that's what I thought too.
Yeah,
Did she
Medusa.
But I don't know if the title was on the line. I think they might have just been feuding.
No, Medusa had it because it was during the whole Oklahoma thing.
Hold on, let me check. I might have to do a recount here. What is her real name? Alundra Blaze?
Yes.
Well, no.
Well,
that's a-
Alondra, Medusa.
Oh, I could have put Medusa in anyways. Hold on, let me check if she held the title. I'm checking. I am incorrect. She was WCW Cruiser, so there was 2.
Oh.
So Jason gets the point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fight for your dreams, boys. Fight for your dreams.
No, I must have missed her on the list. All right. One round. There are 4 people who have won the WCW United States Championship and the WWE United States Championship.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Ginger, name one of
Booker T.
Booker T is correct. Sal.
Chris Benoit.
Chris Benoit is correct. Jason.
Eddie Guerrero.
Eddie Guerrero is correct.
Very nice, gentlemen.
Anyone know the 4th person who was...
Chris Jericho.
No, incorrect.
Oh, Jericho's never a United States champion.
Well, he was in WWE.
WWE, he just wasn't...
I mean,
He fought
WCW.
Kevin Owens at WrestleMania.
I meant in WCW.
This one kind of shocked me. Bret Hart.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because Bret had that
He had that
weird
shitty
run.
reign going into WrestleMania. That's right, where he beat The
did.
Miz, right?
Yeah.
That's right. All right. For all the marbles.
So what's the current standings? Are we all tied?
I kind of don't want to know. Because I don't want to be pressured.
No, I had to perform under pressure, motherfucker.
All right. Sal has 19. Jason and Ginger have 20. There are 6 men who have won the United States Championship 5 times. Name them. Go first,
Oh.
Ginger.
Between both companies?
Correct.
5 times?
5 times. 5 times.
I'm going to have to go with Booker T. I know that's wrong, but...
That's incorrect. Sal.
Yep.
Benoit.
Correct.
Fucking God.
All tied up. Jason.
Say Big Show.
You can't give, like, potential.
From my old WCW days, it just feels this way, so maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to say Lex Luger.
That is correct. Ginger.
Oh, this is where I lose this game. 5 fucking times. Current. Who's been said again? My apologies, I'm not wasting time. I don't want to repeat.
Chris Benoit and Lex Luger have been said.
Five times.
All right, so at this point, Sal's eliminated anyway, right?
No, I'm not.
No.
Nope.
No, he's tied with
Okay.
Ginger. If Ginger and Sal both get one correct and you get it wrong, then there would be 2 people left and you guys will all be tied.
United States champion.
All right,
God damn. I know.
You have an answer, Ginger.
Fuck. JBL.
Alright, Ginger loses. Sal.
Yep, knew it. Fuck. That really makes me mad.
Eddie Guerrero.
Incorrect. Sal loses. Jason is our winner yet again. Jason.
Can I make a guess anyway?
Yes, you can.
Was Sting one of them?
Incorrect.
Okay.
Oh,
'cause,
thank
okay,
God.
okay,
I
I
was going
was
to be
gonna
so
say
mad.
I was
So-
going to say Sting.
Jason wins with 21 points. Ginger and Sal tied for second with 20. The remaining people: Ric Flair,
Yes!
Oh, yes.
Fuck, I knew it.
Bret Hart,
Really? That many times?
that many times, John
Shit.
Cena,
Oh, you know what? No.
Fuck.
You know what? Bret Hart did the back and forth with Diamond Dallas Page.
Yes, he did.
They swapped it okay, I forgot about
Oh,
that.
how about Paige then?
Yeah.
Nope. Paige.
No?
Paige only had
Wow.
it 3 times, I believe. The last person, Wahoo McDaniel.
Oh,
wow. That was
I
back in
would've-
the 70s when they probably introduced the belt.
I would have given all the
So-
points if that would have been.
So, for those of y'all fuckers watching on this Skype call, that's how you defend a fucking title.
That's right, that is.
Yeah, by the skinny fucking
By
team.
1 point, but you won.
By a fucking inch or a mile, it don't
It's a
fucking
win.
matter if you walk away with the gold.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Motherfucker.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and quickly give our takeover predictions.
Oh, Jesus.
Are we gonna hit the couple things left from the perfect 10?
Dude, it's 11 o'clock already at my time. So
Can we just talk about Ambrose?
Yeah, I have to be up in 4.5 hours
if you can
for a
make
12-hour work shift.
If you can make
I
it
can
quick,
make
you
it.
talk about Dan
I can
Rose.
make it. I can make it very quick.
That's
So for anybody who's unaware, Dean Ambrose was on Talk is Jericho this week.
No, John Moxley was on Talk is Jericho.
Okay, the artist formerly known as Dean Ambrose,
Moxley,
now known as John Moxley, was on Talk is Jericho, and he gave a lot of insight into what his last few months were like at the WWE. And to be honest, it's worse than anything we could have ever fucking dreamed of. Because
Exciting. It's exactly what we've been saying it was.
no, not to the level of micromanaging that I ever dreamed of, where you know things get approved and promos have to get rewritten and submitted and all like hours before the show, and then Vince comes out with a letter that's like, Dean needs to read his promos verbatim and stop changing things. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. And for all the shit on this show that we gave Dean Ambrose, oh, he's so fucking hokey. He's coming out there with a cowboy hat. He's coming out there squirting mustard. None of it was fucking on him.
Bullshit.
No, 100%.
Bullshit.
Because you listened to the same interview I did, didn't you?
Yeah, I absolutely did. And you know what?
So you're saying he's lying.
You know what? I've seen that. No, I'm not saying he's lying. I'm saying I've seen fucking better performers be able to get over despite getting shitty gimmicks like that.
Not to that level.
Bullshit.
Name the last
Santino
one.
fucking Morella got over doing some of the worst fucking gimmicks you've ever seen.
Exactly
You
right.
have actually said you hate Santino Morella. No,
I hated him, but the motherfucker was over.
Our truth.
And Dean was over as WWE champion.
I take a little umbrage with you saying that none of it was on Dean.
Yeah, exactly.
We are only presented one side of the story. It's very difficult to say that everything Dean said was 100% the truth, because you're only getting his side of the story on things.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know how Vince can be. We already know how things are backstage.
I take umbrage with I take umbrage with the fact that we're pretending like we had never heard that they rewrite things all the time, that there's last minute changes. This is all shit we already knew, dude. This is nothing new.
Right. And
no, it's a further indictment to what Vince does to stifle the creativity in his own fucking company. This is multiple now times that this has happened with a performer who has left WWE.
So have you ever been entertained by WWE though?
Have I ever been what?
Have you ever been entertained by WWE?
Yes, I have been entertained by WWE.
So then it's not 100% stifling. There are things that you enjoy. There are just things that you also don't enjoy, and that's every show.
I also made it a point to say today in the host thread that in the past few years, the only things I've really enjoyed, or the things I've most enjoyed from WWE, were going back in the network and watching super old stuff or NXT.
Okay.
Because that's how bad the product's been recently.
Okay. I mean, if you don't enjoy the current product,
I mean, we were just talking at WrestleMania about how much we actually enjoyed the show, but okay. And the Kofi storyline,
right,
and
because that Kofi storyline doesn't happen without Vince.
That Kofi storyline happened almost in spite of Vince.
The women.
To your point, he wanted Owens in there. He wanted to make Kevin Owens versus Daniel Bryan.
All right, well, don't get worked into it, man. I mean, like, it still happened. It's still Vince's decision. Vince can say Kofi's not in that match at all.
Vince could have Booker T'd Kofi.
Yeah. So
we were all fearing right up into the moment that he was going to.
Well, and that's fine if you want to fear that, but what happened was he let it go on.
Okay, all right.
Being good. So everyone takes a stance that like everything Vince does is terrible, and everything that's good on the show is somebody else's doing. But that's not true. There's a lot of things that Vince does that is good. There's a lot of things that Vince does that's bad. There's a lot of things that a performer comes up with that Vince has nothing to do with that are good, and a lot of things a performer comes up with that Vince doesn't have anything to do with that is bad. We don't know because we're not there. And again, we're only getting John's side of it. And that's difficult because you have somebody who can't defend themselves.
So just to catch up on the little side, Daniel Price sent a bunch
of
sent a bunch of messages and then retracted them. Maybe I don't know if they were answers to trivia. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think so.
Smathers says second place is just first loser, so fucking get used to that. Sal. Venrick says he was over more before he was champion. That's sort of what Sal said. And he said that storyline fell into their laps, but it was well booked when it happened. Right. And to Sal's point, we sit here and we bitch and we complain and we mock Chris Jericho for all of his. Well, I was in the room with Vince when I created Money in the Bank. So we know that there's often guys who will step up and say, "Oh, it was me," or "It was Vince's fault," and everything I said was on point and money and. So, but we know that's bullshit in some of those cases. Yeah. But I don't know why. So I don't know why we're assuming necessarily that everything Moxley is saying.
Let's not forget that CM Punk did the same thing, and CM Punk was sitting there and going, "Oh, well, the Shield was my idea, yeah. But I wanted fat ass Cassius Ohno to be in there instead of Roman Reigns, and they wanted the Shield was great with Roman in it. He was part of it,
But that being said, what have we seen from Vince recently?
Everything that you see on the show is through Vince.
Right. We've seen Uzi hot. We've seen Braun Strowman have a WrestleMania program with 2 comedians on SNL. Mm-hmm. We've seen a lot of shit on TV presented to us. Right. So who am I gonna believe?
Seen Kofi Kingston have a meteoric rise through several great fucking gauntlet matches.
You yourself on the show had said Kofi was an accident.
So
wasn't anything that they planned.
But that decision was made eventually to go with it.
Did you enjoy AJ Styles and Seth Rollins? Because Vince did that.
Did you enjoy AJ Styles' run on SmackDown?
Because Vince did that.
Did you enjoy the Festival of Friendship?
Because Vince did that.
Well, no. No, he didn't.
You can't.
Did you enjoy women getting to main event WrestleMania?
Because Vince did that.
Did I enjoy the match?
No.
Did I enjoy the build?
No, just the overall aspect of that main eventing.
The build to that main event was fucking awful. We've talked about that on this program.
Right, but who made the decision to let women main event WrestleMania?
Sure.
So
for every one good thing Vince does, we get Uzi hot.
This is the common refrain. Nobody, I don't care if you name me the fucking promoter or booker that bats a fucking 1,000, dude. Hey, everyone fucks up.
Hey, Sal,
everyone makes bad decisions.
Did you enjoy that 6-women tag match that was on Double or Nothing? Because Cody did that.
But to Troy's point a few weeks ago, when Vince doesn't just fuck up because Vince doesn't think he's fucking up. Vince thinks this shit is funny. All that fucking hokey shit, Vince thinks is the greatest shit in the world.
Vince is complacent. There hasn't been anything that's forced him to reevaluate.
We're not saying that Vince is perfect, but we're also not saying that Vince is the devil and everything that he does is terrible. We're saying that people take one side or the other, and it's not cut and dry like that.
But what I'm saying is there's multiple sides and there's multiple indictments on what Vince has been doing with the product. You go back to that Court Bauer interview in that transcript.
You mean the guy who got fired by Vince?
Well, no. It wasn't him who was talking, though. It was a writer who was on this show.
Who was fired.
But this all correlates. All of it goes with, everything that Punk said, he said,
everybody who gets fired for failing at their job in the company blames Vince for their failure.
So you think Triple H is not actually frustrated?
Get over. Is Dean going to go on Jericho and say, Jesus, I didn't get over because I'm not as good as people think I am? No. Dean's going to find another fucking reason for him to have not gotten over. Meanwhile, other guys within the same company who have had shitty gimmicks, who have had to do comedy shit, have managed to get over and stay at the top.
That's all
I'm saying.
Yeah, let's not also forget that John sat there and said that, Vince came to me with these different things, he came to me with these different things. So you mean to tell me that you guys settled on that? So you agreed to say those things, but obviously there was a bigger conversation that was happening on certain items that you could have pushed back on certain things, and you decided, yeah, I'll do that.
Which brings up an interesting point, that when he mentioned the Roman thing, and he said that Vince wanted him to say something else.
Because he was a heel.
With Roman and leukemia, something that would have gotten them thrown off the fucking air. Do you doubt that for 1 second that Vince wanted to say that?
That's hyperbole.
Okay, maybe a little bit, but we also all cringed when he mentioned the cancel the week before.
Sure.
Yeah. But he's a heel.
I cringe when they do business with Saudi Arabia, but
yeah, absolutely.
Randy Orton went out there and
But
said that Eddie
but
is in
their
hell.
business with Saudi Arabia isn't the reason Dean didn't fucking get over. I mean, you're trying to draw
I understand that. I understand.
everything to equate to make this not Dean's fault that he didn't get over. It's Dean's fault that Dean didn't get over.
Yeah, you know who had nothing to do with. There was an aspect of John that Vince had nothing to do with the in-ring work, and the in-ring work sucked. That's all on John.
Yeah.
Okay, I will 100% give you that. And I said that even on the blender. I said, listen, he's not, Kota Ibushi. He's not going to go out there and have a 6-star match with Kenny Omega next month.
But he came up with the wacky line.
The same time we had this conversation, we were like, he came up with the cowboy hat. He has his creative. He has his input.
So Vince was like, "Hey, I got this move I want you to do where you like look like you're gonna follow the ropes, but then you come back and close." No, John came up with that.
Would you really fucking doubt it?
No, I do.
Well, he was doing it before he got to WWE. So
I hate that fucking move.
No, but apparently John loves it, and it's guess what? He's gonna use it the next time he faces somebody. I guarantee.
So let me just point out 2 quick things here. First off, we have heard in enough interviews with John Cena at this point, who has told us that some of his decisions in terms of like his rapper gimmick, he was going to get fired if that shit didn't work because Vince didn't know about it. He just went out and fucking did it because he believed in it. He took a chance on himself and it paid off. So if Dean really didn't believe in the fucking creative and really believed he fucking knew what happened, then it's on him that he didn't take the same approach. Second off, the thing that's going to help him get over in AEW is that company has room for him to be Stone Cold. He was never going to be able to be Stone Cold in a company where Stone Cold had already been Stone Cold. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, he can be that sort of character in AEW because AEW's never had that sort of character. If he does that same character in WWE, he's just going to be a knockoff of Stone Cold.
Okay.
He had to be something different from that.
To that, okay. He talked about in the interview about, he feels free. He feels he can be creative for the first time. And it's not just him. I'm sure there's a lot of other guys. When they leave WWE, they feel like that too, right? So, as a wrestling fan...
how many of those guys have succeeded once they got that creative freedom?
Cody did. That's the first one that comes to mind.
Whoa, Cody did. Because, hold on. But let me even tear that down a little bit, because Cody did because he latched on to one of the hottest things in independent wrestling at the time in the Bullet Club.
No, the list. Cody was doing it with the list before he got to New Japan with the Bullet Club.
Sure, and there were plenty of people that had a list, and they were hot when they first got released, and then nobody fucking remembered them shortly after that.
So McIntyre was great on the Indies. He reinvented himself. John Morrison became champion everywhere he went. Still...
Yeah, Austin Aries became champion everywhere he went too, but did he make any fucking impact nationally?
Because he's a piece of shit.
John Morrison hasn't made any impact nationally since he left. He's made some shitty straight-to-DVD movies and won an Impact title.
Tenille.
He was Lucha Underground champion. He was champion AAA.
Yeah, how's that show?
I mean, it ran successfully for 4 seasons, right? Like
successfully.
So it ran successfully because of John Morrison?
No, I think he found success with that.
Yep. No.
How's Damien Sandow doing?
No, he didn't do anything. Damien Sandow didn't do shit. I'll give you that one.
I mean, we can run through the list of guys who didn't do shit, but we'll be here all night.
How's Evan Bourne
I think that's sort of the point.
All I'm saying is that I'm excited when guys do leave.
How's PJ Black doing?
Because I don't see fucking shit. Dude, how's the Revival doing?
They're still employed.
Barely. They were in backstage segments this week. How about that awesomely hot feud with the Usos? Oh, wait, now they're just fucking in barbecue segments.
It's still
great.
Going on.
Awesome.
I was building towards it.
But, Sal, 2 weeks ago, when they got in the ring, the in-ring match was fucking fantastic.
And it was buried at like 9:30 on Raw. Like, who gives a shit? Nobody talked about it. Nobody cared.
But it was aired.
It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, it was aired.
Which is not something you would say about
doing?
any of Ambrose's matches.
He's tag team champion.
How's them tag team champions going?
That's Kurt Hawkins doing that.
I'm gonna do it because.
Everything's fine for Kurt Hawkins
booked the entire time, and the other team has not been booked.
There you go. But they're doing great because they're on TV. Yeah, Kurt Hawkins and fucking
Rivals doing great. They're getting lots of money.
Do you think Kurt Hawkins would rather be a champion and on TV in WWE, or back where he was 2 years ago working fucking bingo halls for $30 and a hot dog and a handy? Where do you think he's happier?
I don't know. It's up to him. That's up to him, man. I guess we'll find out when his contract runs out.
Because he came back.
Yeah.
And Troy, you're the same guy who was like, "Oh, Sasha was upset and she quit the company and blah 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 blah." And now you're sitting here going, "Oh well, everybody needs WWE because they pay you more money and this, that, and the other thing, and they're happier and they get on TV."
No. Hawkins left. He got his creative freedom. He realized the grass wasn't fucking greener. And guess what? First chance he got, he came back. The Hardys left. They got their creative freedom in TNA. And then what happened? They came back. And they got their money.
The Hardys were the hottest thing in the Indies when they came back.
So Matt Riddle is taking on Roderick Strong on NXT 25.
Please, God.
So Adam has chosen Matt Riddle to go over Roderick Strong. I have also taken Matt Riddle to go over Roderick Strong. Jason, who do you got in this match?
I'm going to go with Roderick Strong. It seems like they're really pushing the Undisputed Era right now.
All right, Sal, who you got?
Roddy Strong.
Ginger.
I'm going Riddle. They're not going to make him job two takeovers in a row.
Right. I feel so much better now that Ginger picked Riddle about my pick.
Wasn't trying to cut you off, man, but it's 11:30 at night and this conversation's going nowhere. We have a ladder match for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championships. The Undisputed Era, Street Profits, Forgotten Sons, and Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch are going at it. Adam has chosen Undisputed Era. They don't win. I chose Street Profits. Ginger, who you got?
I'm actually gonna go Undisputed.
Yeah, that's why I'm glad I chose the Street Profits. Sal.
I'm gonna go Undisputed. I think they do get that draped in gold moment.
We'll see. Jason.
I would love for it to be the Street Profits, but the old school wrestling guy in me knows that there's always more money in the face chasing. So for that to be true, Undisputed Era needs to win this match.
Tricks on everybody. The go-away Sons are going to win.
I hope, just to let you know, if the Street Profits win, I will do the entire show next week with just my dick in the camera. NXT North.
You heard it here first, folks.
We made it to 400. We're not going to make it through 401.
Well, after our last milestone episode, Adam quit, so I'm looking forward to the Facebook post to find out who's leaving the show tonight.
Probably Sal. Velveteen Dream defends the North American Championship against newly minted NXT talent Tyler Breeze, by the way. That is official. He is officially moved to NXT full-time.
Good.
Me and Adam have both chosen Velveteen Dream to go over. Jason, who you got?
I don't know that you bring Tyler Breeze back and don't put him over in this spot. Like, if he loses here, then where do you go with him from there? I think there could be money in a rematch between the two, and I think it's very possible Velveteen Dream's on the verge of a call-up. So I'm going to say Tyler Breeze gets the belt.
All right. Well, I mean, the only place he can go now is, I guess, Florida Championship Wrestling. Sal.
Well, he'd have more creative freedom, so.
That's true. Sal.
So, Jason, I got to say, you actually swayed me because I was going to go with Dream, but no, you got a point. Tyler Breeze.
Ginger.
Yeah, Tyler Breeze.
Oh, now you did it.
I talked myself into a loss. Jesus.
Now you done did it.
NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler defends against Io Shirai. Me and Adam have gone with Io. Ginger, who you got?
I swear to God, if Shayna Baszler fucking wins, I'm gonna smash my 60 fucking inch TV. I'm going Io.
All right. Sal.
Feel bad for your TV. Shayna's retaining that.
It's got insurance.
Jason.
I swear to God, if Shayna doesn't lose this fucking title, I'm gonna smash my 60-inch cock. No, I think Shayna's winning because I think we've already seen that Candice is the next one for Shayna. So
there it is.
We are inching towards Asuka territory with Shayna though, which is not a good thing.
I've said from day one, I think Candice is the one to take the title off of her.
Yep. I totally agree.
Probably should be in this match. The NXT
Well,
Championship.
she's now in the corner of Io Shirai, so
Right. They're setting
placed
it
her
up.
and positioned her into this situation.
NXT Championship, Johnny Gargano defends against Adam Cole, baby. Me and Adam have both gone with Adam Cole, baby, being the new NXT champion. Jason.
As much as I dislike the notion that Gargano will now have lost both titles in his first defense, his first major defense of them, I think Adam Cole, and I think Gargano's on the verge of a call-up. So,
Sal.
Yeah, I hate that Johnny Gargano is going to become the new Sasha Banks, but yeah, he's not going to defend that title. It's going to be Adam Cole.
Baby. Ginger.
I'm going to go opposite of everybody. I'm going Gargano.
so we're definitely locked into Cole's win.
Yep.
Hey,
era.
excuse
Has
me.
begun.
The past 2 pay-per-views, I've tied for first place on the guesses.
He does have you there.
Just to get caught up on the side real quick, because we did tell people we would read their shit. John said the problem with the current stuff is that most of it is reactionary. There are some good things and a lot of bad things, but none of it feels like it's part of the long-term plan. That's a fair point. That move would have been awful if it had happened. If it happened very rarely. I don't know what he was referring to at that point. Said it felt like he was running out the clock by the end of his WWE run, and they would never let the clock end because they just kept fucking cooking him.
And he said that too.
I feel like there's a middle ground in this Dean thing that these arguments never seem to address. I'd be curious what he thinks that middle ground is. I believe I was the one saying there was a middle ground, that it's not all Vince and it's not, but Dean needs to take some blame for it. Smathers wants to know who gives the handy, and that's so Smathers. No, Ginger. Ginger
volunteered.
I love that
Check out.
Smathers has one comment this entire 3-hour show into that.
You can check out Ginger's Twitter address if you're interested in that handy later, Smathers. John
He already
says,
followed me.
John says Riddle and the Prophet so far.
DM me.
Things dream, though he wouldn't hate seeing Breeze win it. Shayna has to lose the thing eventually, and that Cole wins via shenanigans.
Evil shenanigans. So,
And Smathers is going to slide into Ginger's DMs. So
Now we know what Ginger's doing the rest of the night.
that does it for the rundown for this Thursday, May 30th, 2019. Please rate us 5 stars and review, and we'll read the reviews on air. You can follow us on Twitter at Rundown Network, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/rundownwrestling, email the show your dick pics via rundownwrestling@gmail.com. Go to Instagram.com/rundownwrestling, YouTube.com/rundownwrestling. You can leave us a voicemail like Adam said he was going to do, and then remember that he was going to do it, and then still never did it, at 617-863-6967. That's 61 Rundown 7. We are on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/Rundown Wrestling to become a patron. All patrons receive early access to shows on the Rundown feed as well. There's some swag and original content, such as Burning Sensation that just dropped, 2nd episode, as well as Blue Fist, me and Ginger, and maybe something new coming from Ginger soon. You can check out our website, rundownwrestling.com, for information on all of our other great shows, such as the Nitro Mania podcast, Hurry Up and Cruiserweight, Making a Great, NXT Revisited, Twat Magic, and WrestleMania Salvation, which should be coming out next week, right?
Yeah.
That's right. You can also go over there right now and vote on our hottest male talent tournament. You can listen to our friends Brawler Brian Malonis and Mike Crockett on the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing with new podcasts every Monday. Go to facebook.com/thewpan or the WPAN. You know who doesn't have an issue with having to move around their show? The WPAN, because they don't talk about WWE. Check out our friends Justin Michaels on his show Yesel and Waltz. Go to yeselandwaltz.com or watch it on Roku through the RNTV app or the 24/7 Retro app. You can follow our host on Twitter at JStewart0920, at RockstarTroy, at WrestleMania Sal, at The Silzer Effect, at Realist Tommy, at Johnny Analog. You can slide on over and get a handy from Ginger at Ginger19876, at Hurry Up Cruiser, and at Nicolette
Digitally.
Shea. I don't know who that is. Thanks.
Nicolette Sheridan? I don't know.
I know Nicolette Sheridan. I don't know Nicolette Shea.
Oh, Nicolette Shea. Yeah.
Shea?
Shea.
Shea.
no, it's Shay.
Shea?
Is it Shea?
Yeah.
I thought it was Shea.
No, it's Shay.
Shea, like Shea Stadium.
I'm sure she shakes. Thanks to all of you for listening. Thanks to Jason,
Thanks.
to Sal,
Thanks.
and Ginger.
I'm tired, thanks.
Thanks, Jason, for our theme song. And next week, we continue to pledge ourselves to pictures of beautiful men.
Adam well.
But we're not going to wish Sal the best of luck on his future endeavors with Anchor.
Well, you fucking fire me for having a point of view? What the
Now,
fuck?
now that he's got, we just figured we'd help you get your creative freedom, Sal.
Oh, you
so
fucking asshole. It
So you
would have
can
been a
come-
rundown if me and Jason didn't fight on the episode.
Okay.
you can come up with all these great ideas we've been preventing you from having.
Good night, guys.
Night, JoJo.
Peace.
So I guess that means we will see you next Thursday.
Bye-bye. All right.
Thank God.
This has been a production of the Rundown Wrestling Network. If you are interested in having your podcast join the network, email us at rundownwrestling@gmail.com for more information. And thank you for listening.
Sal, you're up.
Sally, you didn't say anything.
I said peace.
I forgot about that end part. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
It's just like, thank God this fucking...
Well, I got 4 hours to get some sleep, so
Yeah, I hear that.
Thanks, bro.
fuck.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, later, boys.
Okay, so hold on. Before, I want to confirm, what day do you want that uploaded on Patreon?
You can do it tomorrow.
Okay,
Alright.
cool. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks, John, and thanks, Big Kane, and thanks, Daniel Price, for deleting whatever it was that you gave us.
What did you say, redacted in the whole thing?
Yep.
Yeah,
We will see you all
everything was
next week.
redacted. Later.